Sweet. All right, 1, 2, 3. Does my mic sound all right, man? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you loud and clear, man.
Fantastic. Fantastic. Let me know if you get notified for this.
Let's see. I don't see a notification coming through, but I might
Yeah, it
be
usually
logged into
takes
a
like
different
30
account.
seconds.
Yeah, but I do see it live on the screen though.
All right, all right. Oh, there's my phone. Let's see. Did I get it? Yeah, I got it. All right, sweet, sweet. So what's up, everybody? What's up, ETT? How's it going, man?
I'm surviving. I'm surviving, as I always like to say, man. But hey, what's up with you, man?
Pretty good, man. Just got off work, set up a live stream, just chilling.
Yeah,
Nothing
yeah.
too
It
much.
doesn't get any better than that, does it?
No, not at all, man. Not at all.
Right. But we wanted to talk about our buddy, right, the Mind of Golf as we call him, right? But you might know him as the Mind of Chirag. I was looking on his page probably like 20 minutes ago, and he hasn't uploaded in like what 3 days, and the last community post was like 4 days ago or something like that. So we don't know where the guy is at. Last time we talked to him, he said he was in an undisclosed location, right? So he was no longer in his apartment. I don't know. He doesn't have
Oh,
a car.
I didn't hear that part.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, I've talked to him.
last post was 4 days ago, and comments, last comments were, let's see, 4 days ago. Yeah, they're all 4 days ago. Last community post was 5 days ago, and last community comment, uh, he just liked something, and that was from 5 days ago.
Yeah, but
So,
I remember
yeah, man.
when I talked to him last, he was saying that, he doesn't live in his apartment anymore. He also doesn't have his own car because he sold that. I want to say maybe 2 months ago he sold his car. So we don't know where the guy's at. We try to reach out to him, but like say for an example, I'll try to reach out to him over our social media that we have, but for whatever reason he has me blocked on there. I don't know. I can't speak for everyone that contacted him, but for me, I try to contact him, but he has me blocked on there for whatever reason. So so that's that. I try to reach out to him, but he doesn't answer.
He's ghosting you, man. How do you know that he has you blocked though? How are you able to see that?
Well, he told me because I had him on a stream. Remember when Good Servant hopped on with me? Mina Golf stopped
Yeah,
by,
that's
so
that was
I
the
asked
last
him.
time I seen them.
Yeah, I asked him. Why don't you respond to my messages? And he told me that he has me blocked on him. So I was like, oh, okay. So that's how I know.
Oh, well, that's a good way to know. Um, so yeah, man, like his predictions, didn't turn out, I guess, the way he thought.
Which,
So
hey, look,
remember a
I
couple weeks ago what he said? Do you think that could have happened?
no, that's all a bunch of nonsense what this guy's saying. Hey, look,
Oh,
I've been
okay.
telling people, I've been telling people for the longest that what this guy's saying is not going to
Here's
happen. So
Ridge.
What's
whether
up?
someone wants to believe it or not, that's on them. But ETT already said months ago that what this guy was saying was not going to happen. Like, let me tell you something, because again, I've known this guy for over 4 years. So this whole thing that he's talking about, right, his
Your
sequence of
background's kind of loud, Ridge.
pre-plague rapture, as he calls it, he's only been teaching about this for probably 16 months or so, or around that amount of time. So it has been less than 2 years that he's been teaching this nonsense about Christ could return any day, and the this pre-plague rapture. All of that's basically new with his ideology, as far as I'm concerned. Hey, what's up, Rich?
What's up, man?
How you doing, man?
Yo,
I've been doing pretty good, man. How about you?
Yeah, I'm surviving. I'm surviving.
That's good.
so yeah, man. It's
Ridge,
RIP
you
T-Mog,
got
man.
anything to say about Mina Golf, man?
Uh, Pretty much like the same thing I said earlier. like he's free to think that, and I'm fine with him thinking like that because I mean, who doesn't want the world to end right now? Like, but my problem was when he I commented that I think the world is going to end by 2028, and he like was laughing at me and called and said like I get a star for moron or something like that. You know, just mocking me, and that's what makes me mad. Like somebody like him that has got two predictions wrong now has no right to mock anybody else's beliefs whatsoever. You know.
Right, because he said that Christ was going to return by January 1st, 2022. That obviously didn't happen. So then they had to
Exactly.
remix it a little bit and say that, oh, maybe by, say, just for hypothetical, something like, May 26th or something like that, that Christ would return. And whatever the date he said that it was going to happen, that obviously did not come to pass. Which obviously, anyone who, reads the scriptures, you're not supposed to set dates and stuff like that, because even Christ said that no man knows the day or the hour, but the only one who knows is the Father, is the only one who knows the day and the hour. So all these guys, and it's not just him going around saying this. You have people on the internet for hell longer than I've been, on this platform, teaching that, Christ is going to return on this date, that year, this month, this day. This is nothing old. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, definitely, definitely. Um, yeah, I've seen a few people like that with the end time predictions.
Right.
But once those dates come to play out, everybody's like, what happened? We're still waiting, and here it is that it's what, like 10 years later from when people say, like when people like try to say, oh, when Barack Obama was the Antichrist. I don't know if you ever looked
Right.
into that. They're
Yeah,
like,
I used to believe that back then because again, I used to believe that there was a one man antichrist, but that's before I, actually read much of the Bible for myself. So I used to believe that Obama was the antichrist back then, but then I look back into it, and now I'm of the position that there's not just one man who is the antichrist, because it says that there's, many of them. But yeah, I know about that. I remember watching those guys. Like, what's that one character? He's still around today. His channel is called Tribulation Saints. I believe his name is Wayne Levi Price. You might know
oh,
who that is.
I know him.
Yeah, yeah. He was saying that, man. I remember watching him like 8 years ago, 9 years ago. Guy talking about Obama's the Antichrist, and stuff like that.
Right. Yeah, no, that's crazy, man. But yeah, like back then they were predicting Obama's the Antichrist, and any moment of the day he's gonna, do their predictions, and then, all
Right,
hell's gonna break loose. But here we are, what, 12 years later, still
right,
waiting.
right. Yeah, yeah, man. Exactly. Same thing with what is this? The September 23rd, I believe, right? They
Yeah,
were
man,
saying,
that
I
was that.
remember that. I remember being back in school, and I remember being back in school, watching those videos, guys talking about, oh, something's gonna happen, on this date, and then when it doesn't happen one year, they'll come on and say the next year it's gonna happen. When it doesn't happen that year, they'll keep coming back as the years go by, say on that date something is going to happen, and then it always turns out that nothing happens on that date. But I remember guys saying that at least 8 years ago. I first heard of that idea.
Yeah, it was in 2015.
Right, right. The guys been talking about this stuff for a long while, man, because it depends on who you talk to, because some guys had different theories. Some people are talking about there's going to be a alignment in the heavens on September 23rd. Um, what is it, September 23rd or November 23rd? It was one of
No,
those
it
dates.
was September. It was September,
Oh,
man.
okay. Um, but then there's other groups they were talking about, oh, CERN's going to open up some type of portal, and bring demons across, or something like that. So
Well,
it
I,
depends on who
I
you talk
actually,
to, but some of those guys had different viewpoints of what they think's going to happen on that
I actually
particular.
remember. I remember, dude. Some people were going as far as to say a dragon was going to come that day. There was. I remember YouTube videos about that.
It's crazy, man.
Oh, I haven't heard that one. That's a new one.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, man, TMOG. What else do you got to know about him? Because I really don't know much about the guy apart from the last 8 months.
Yeah, as I said, I've known him for I remember watching him back when I was 15, so it's been quite a while that I've known this guy. We've had a couple,
How old are you
friendly.
now?
I'll be 20 in 4 months now.
Hey, I have a question for you, Age. I don't mean to interrupt, but
Go ahead.
do you care if I re-upload your video you made 2 years ago about the teenage myth?
Oh, please do, please do.
Okay, I was just
Re-upload.
making sure because I know like sometimes
Yeah,
people
yeah, you're
upload
cool,
something
man.
years ago and it's not the same quality, so I didn't want to bring up
Yeah,
something if
it's
you didn't
cool,
like
man.
it.
Hey, look, anyone has the permission to re-upload my content without asking me. Anyone's welcome to do that. The only time you're not is if someone's gonna twist it, and cut up the video to make it look like we're saying something we're not. Because you got people,
Andrew Ashby.
yeah, you remember that the guys will, cut up the video. Like, let me give
Yeah,
an example, Jay. You might not
Did
have
you
heard of
say
this.
Andrew Ashby?
yeah.
Here's what Andrew Ashby did
Oh
one
yeah,
time.
I know Andrew Ashby and
Yeah, yeah.
Colonel
Listen,
Casper.
this is what he did one time. When I refer to guys cutting up the videos, that's when I have a problem with it. But other than that, anyone's welcome to re-upload my content. That's fine. Um, but I brought up Andrew Ashby because what happened was, I made a video and I made a joke in the video. I said we're gonna get into it and we're gonna cut this guy with the scriptures. Just being sarcastic or whatever. So what he did is he cut the video up to make it look like that I put a threat out there towards him and say we're gonna cut this guy, and then he'll
Yeah,
cut
he
out the
said
rest of it. You know what I'm saying?
he's
Just to
yeah,
to sound like a threat.
yeah. I'm pretty sure Jay. He said like, didn't he say that the age? Didn't he say that you were getting paid to make death
Yeah,
threats
he
or
said.
something? That was some weird
Yeah,
thing,
yeah.
man.
He said. Andrew
Oh,
Ashby
I
said that I
seen
was
that
getting
video.
paid.
He said vigilant Christian Mario hired people to threaten him or something.
Right, right,
Yeah, yeah. He said me and Age were both working for Mario, being
right.
paid.
Oh wow,
But you
the
know how
shit people
ironic.
come up with, man.
I
It's
know,
You know
dude.
crazy.
what's ironic though, man? It's like, wait a second. We've already said many times, and the videos aren't out now because those are on channels we lost in the past, 5 years ago. But back then we even said, hey, look, I don't agree with what Mario's saying. He goes off, but I'm not going to sit there, and call the guy, things that he's not. I'm just not going to do that. So because I say Mario's right on one thing, or that we shouldn't call him things that he's not, that somehow means that I'm getting paid by TVC Mario, even though I've said on multiple videos that I disagree with the guy and he goes off on certain things. But that
Yeah.
part will be skipped over, of course.
Yeah, I don't want to put words in your mouth, but like to sum up like how you think pretty much, you can correct me if I'm wrong. Like basically what you were saying is like, yeah, I don't agree with Mario. We don't have the same doctrines and it's okay to call Mario out, but if your whole focus like making an 8-hour documentary on one guy,
Right.
like like where's the time
That's
for
legendary,
Bible?
man.
Yeah, where's the time for
Yo,
Bible lessons or like
wait,
anything
let
else?
me say this. Let me say this on that. I
Yeah.
don't think it's a problem if you make one or two exposed videos on someone you disagree with. That's fine. I don't see anything wrong with that. So if Andrew,
Even 20 isn't
say for an
is like, but
example,
Yo, that
if
sounds exactly like Gary 828.
yeah, but Andrew was even worse than him, dude. He made an 8-hour like
yeah,
documentary.
let me finish real quick. I don't think it would be wrong if you make, say, two videos, on one person you disagree with. I don't think that's anything, you know,
Yeah,
terrible, but I mean it's overkill if you're doing hundreds of videos a year on one person. I mean that's overkill right there.
exactly,
That's unnecessary.
exactly. And like that Gary guy, dude, like he was just using Mario to get subscribers so he could become
He
a
don't
freaking soap
does he
reviewer.
still
He's
do
a
that?
soap reviewer. No, he's a soap reviewer now, dude.
He's a what?
He's a soap reviewer, dude. He orders like different like scented soaps and reviews
Wait,
them, bro.
who
I'm
is?
not Gary828, dude. He's a soap reviewer now. You can look up his channel.
What did he
Huh.
used to do?
He used to do like comedy skits and like Christian apologetic type stuff, and then he switched over to exposing Mario. But when the topics ran out, he kind of
So so
tuned
this
out, and
guy
I don't
wait,
know
wait
what
a
he does
second.
now.
So this guy's Ridge, this guy's reviewing soap on his channel now. That's what he's doing these days.
Yeah, yeah, pretty much, man. We'll make a Bible video here and there, but it's mainly soap reviews.
Oh man.
Mario brought his monetization in,
Yeah.
and Ridge was asking him if he wears boots, and played a lot of Breaking Benjamin songs over
Yeah,
those exposed videos, man.
yeah. I remember one time I edited Cole Casper's face on the Lizard Man and played "I Will Not Bow" in the background.
I think I seen that. Or
Yeah,
no. It was Andrew Ashby reviewing it, I think.
yeah. That's what it was, man.
Yeah. But Ridge, man, now that I got you on here, I've been meaning to hook back up with you again. I was wondering if you would come on sometime this weekend for part 3 of
Oh yeah,
those
definitely.
two videos we did. And then I just made like 10 different accounts. And I was gonna see if you can like log into like 4 of them, because I was gonna use those for, you know how the YouTube shorts are like the popular thing right now.
Yeah.
I was gonna
Well, hey,
see if
that reminds me, dude. Did you see my? I subscribed to you on this account called Sub for Sub. It's an experimental account, and I'm keeping quiet about it right now because I don't want like people to copy me and then the
yeah,
algorithm
I've
will
had
kill.
that.
But
It
I
don't work.
gotta
I tried it
no, dude.
already.
I got like 1,200 subscribers within a month using this certain video. I just repost over and over, and I don't want to give anything away, but dude, it
1200.
yeah,
Oh yeah, you're gonna have to hook me up with that, man. Cause
yeah,
I'm trying to set up all these different channels right now, just a whole network of shit. But I was gonna see if how we did before when we shared the pages,
yeah.
if you
Sure,
can
man, definitely.
log in and like help me upload like not too shadow banny resulting in shit getting banned, but like when you go into YouTube Shorts and every now and then you'll see like a light-hearted conspiracy topic.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, something like that. I got 4 channels set up for that. And I was going to see if you can help me
yeah,
upload that, because
definitely.
like I'm working a lot, man. So like I can't
Yeah, I've been I finally got back to producing my own videos, like talking. Like I said, I have severe OCD, and if I stutter, it just bothers me so much. I couldn't even make videos for a while. But yeah,
yeah, yeah, I do
it's
that
nice to get
too,
back
man.
to.
You got to edit it out. I don't know if like you've ever heard my commentary, or like when I do narration, like
Yeah,
it'll sound like sometimes it'll be like skip uh throughout it.
yeah,
So that's what I do. That's my
but
technique.
yeah, man, I'll finally start making my own videos again, and it's really cool doing that because
Yeah, I
it's more
got like
personal.
45 plus videos planned out. I just got to sit down to record them. I haven't.
Dude, I'm still really excited for 2 videos you told me you're gonna make. First one's about that Christian girl that got caught. If
Oh
that's
yeah,
her.
I got to. I might do that recently, because I was telling a lot of people about that, and they're like, "Yeah, you should drop that first." And I was like, "Oh, okay," but
Yeah,
I might lose a friend for doing that. But
and
that's what it is.
the second one I'm excited about is the one about Samuel and like how people convince themselves. That
Oh
one
yeah,
seems
yeah,
pretty cool.
yeah. I got that one too. Um,
Yeah. That'll be a good one. That'll be
Yeah,
a good.
yeah,
but yeah, for the
I've been
next live
doing
stream,
the script for that lately. I just
yeah,
started
man,
it.
yeah, man, for the next live stream, I'll make sure to have my mom's phone by me, and I'm gonna have be on the Israel Zeus website. So it
All
don't gotta
right.
be where I'm looking up stuff here and there like the last.
Well, no, that's no problem, man. If you ever need
Yeah,
me to look up anything.
yeah.
Speaking
'Cause,
of Israel Zeus, have you watched any of Alan Lamont stuff lately?
no, man, it's actually been a while. Israel Zeus has a little bit more info than Alan, but yeah, Alan Lamont has a lot of good information too.
Why is his name Israel Zeus?
That's a good question. I don't even think that's his real name, but like
Yeah, I
he's
know
been
that's not
like
his real name, but I
he's
wonder
been
why he goes
targeted. He's been targeted and stuff, and like uh, the black nobility is a subject that's so deep, and like there's this family and this family. It's something that would probably take years to find all the information about. Kind of like the Freemasons and all the different subsects and stuff. Some of these topics go it's a whole rabbit hole, and then there's different rabbit holes within them.
Yeah, totally. But to stay on topic though, I just wanted to bring that up. Let's
Yeah,
focus more
man.
like
Yeah.
on TMOG, because it's a dedicated the Mind of God live stream. So Where do you think he's at now, ETT? Because that's your friend. I've only been on what, like 25 live streams so far, maybe a little bit more.
Yeah, something like that, man. As we said, we try to reach out to him, but he doesn't respond to our messages or whatnot. So it was just ironic because you had Ruby on the chat yesterday. He's on there saying, "Oh, why don't you guys get in contact with him?" It's like, well, wait a second. Apparently, you need to clean out your earwax because we were just saying we were trying to contact him, but he has us blocked on his social media. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So it's he don't pay attention.
You know what? To be honest with you, man, I thought doing this live stream would have him join like the comments or something, because he's on YouTube if he's still around, or has been.
Like I'll give an example, right? I'll give an example. I couldn't get in contact with him for I'd say a handful of weeks leading up to my conversation with Good Servant because I try to comment on his videos, but my comments don't appear there for some reason. So I try to contact him, he has me blocked there. He doesn't comment on my stuff, so it's like, oh, okay, well, you might not want to talk then. But then when I go live with Good Servant, me and Good Servant out of the blue one day, we just decided to have an hour chat because I'd been waiting, about a year to have a chat with him. So he was available for an hour. So
And
we
you're
just
gonna have to wait
decided out of
another
the blue.
whole year to have another chat.
That's
Hey,
probably true.
that reminds me.
But anyway, when I went live, I I saw that he was in the chat, so I let him hop on, when me and Good Servant finished. So he got that somehow pulled his attention when I was on there live with Good Servant because he'd been wanted to see that conversation. So yeah, yo Rudy, click the link, man. If you got something to say, click the link, man.
Oh shit!
But
What happened?
that reminds me, as far as debates go, remember that dude that said you got to pay 300 an hour to debate him, Age?
Yeah. That's the Southern
Oh,
Israelite.
is
Listen
that who
here.
that was? He
Yeah,
let
the
me on.
guy
I didn't
who
have to pay that
yeah,
much.
the guy, let me say
I didn't
this, let
pay
me say
anything
this.
at all.
If you can catch him live, then he'll have a conversation with you for free. But if you want to set up a debate with him, he'll charge you $300 an hour, but it's a minimal of 3 hours. So for a minimal, you have to go on with him for 3 hours at a time. So that will cost you $900 for a 3 hour debate with him because he teaches. I don't know if you saw, but I know this character. We go back a couple of years. He says that he is the number one educator in the world. He says that Babylon the Great is the Vatican City, that soul doesn't exist, that
I thought he was
uh
part of GMS.
No,
why the
he's a
hell would
white
he be?
guy. He believes in the actual Jews in Israel being
Yeah,
the
right.
Jews,
Oh,
which I don't know how. He says the genetics match the people that are there. I was like, oh, okay.
yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy, man. He has his own following and whatnot. Those guys in this chat, he has a fair amount of people there. Those guys are all dedicated followers to that guy, man. Anyway, I think he
Is
works in a
LOP
I think
coming?
he works
He
in a
might. I
graveyard or
messaged
something
him.
like that.
I'm not
Yeah.
planning on going live very long anyway. I
Oh,
just
okay.
I just wanted to do something, I guess, because I got bored,
Yeah.
and the whole Discord trolling doesn't isn't amusing as a long-term thing.
Hey, I have another question for you. Well, I actually had a question for both of y'all because I want to work on some different things. But Jay, would you like to make a surviving life archives channel with me? And we just
Yeah,
upload
I
all
was
his stuff from BitChute. Dude, we would
yeah.
get loaded with stuff, bro.
You mean on YouTube or BitChute?
Yeah, no, on YouTube because he's on BitChute. That's where all his videos are.
Well,
That's
he's
where
on
I
YouTube too.
yeah, but I'm talking about his old content. That's how I got that one that I
What do
uploaded
you
on
have his
the
old?
third.
Oh, because you got it off of BitChute.
Yeah.
Yeah, we could do that. Sure. Yeah, that's no problem, man.
Okay, man. Yeah. And the other thing I was gonna ask for Age is, do you want to do a video talking about UFOs with me one day, like on my account? We
Yeah,
could do like a
that's cool, man. That's
okay.
cool. We can do that. Yo, I got a question, Ridge, because I know you don't teach that Satan's the God of the Old Testament. You don't believe that anymore. But could I
Right.
ask when you did believe that, who was it, or how did you come to that idea? Did you hear that on YouTube, or like how did you
Yeah,
come to that?
it was a YouTuber by the name of Good God.
Oh, I've seen that shit.
What does he use to try to prove that Satan's the God of the Old Testament?
It's pretty complicated actually, man. Like he puts verse by verse, like he'll have like a split screen and it'll be like the New Testament, Old Testament, and it'll be like when
So he's
Jesus
kind of
says,
like doing what Mike does. He's twisting himself into a pretzel. Trying to find like contradictions that show that he's the God of the Old Testament
well,
is
Basically,
evil,
yeah,
right?
kind of.
I
In
can't
in
really
a
speak on
nutshell.
Mike though, because like I don't even know who Mike is. Is that the dude that said you can sleep with animals?
No. Mike is you might have seen him
He's
on here with us. His icon
bestiality.
his icon is what is it? It's like a bunny rabbit or something like that. We call
Oh,
him
okay.
Mike. His channel name is what is it? Deep down the rabbit hole or something like that. His wife
Yeah,
also does
deep
streams
inside
too.
the rabbit hole.
Yeah,
There's
yeah.
also another channel called that David Weiss. I think he has his channel named that.
Right. But yeah, he's someone different. He teaches that the New Testament is fake and that Christ is not the Messiah. That's what he's ranting about nowadays.
Hey guys, that
But
reminds me. I have a question. What's the most bizarre esoteric belief you've ever heard? I'll go first. The weirdest I've ever heard and like is that Julius Caesar was the real Jesus. Like
Yeah, I've heard that one too.
yeah, what's the weirdest like out of all these tiny different
The
things that
weirdest that
come yeah.
I've heard people say that John the Baptist was the original Messiah and Jesus was just taking all the credit and fame. So John the Baptist was actually the messianic figure and not the Christ.
Wow.
And they kind of had like a feud for that. I was like, oh,
What
that's
about
yeah,
you,
interesting.
I
man?
saw something about that before. I was watching a documentary that they claimed that they might have found the cave where John the Baptist dwelt or something like that. And they were talking about how some people back then, believed that John the Baptist was the Messiah instead of Christ. I've seen something about that idea before.
Yeah, there's a verse in the Bible too where he is asked if he's the Messiah and he denies it.
Yeah, that's true. I remember that. I remember that. But I mean, it's like, damn, if you were to ask me the question of what's the most bizarre, um,
Yeah.
teaching regarding the Bible, I mean, I couldn't even, I really can't pick one because there's so many different ideas that we've heard over the years, such as, like, I'll give an example, the Mind of God, right? He's on there saying that Jonah, right, that he was actually taken in a UFO or something like that.
Oh yeah.
But then I was having a conversation with a Christian named Ryan a couple days ago, and when we were talking about that subject, he said that he is of the position that excuse me, not Job, Jonah, he actually was dead for 3 days. So I mean, that's I've never heard that idea before, but I don't know how these guys come to these conclusions. It literally tells you that he was in a fish. Now, whether that's a whale or not, I mean, that's a debate you can have, but it was
Yeah.
definitely some
Yeah.
type of sea life that he was actually in. So I don't know how these guys come up with the idea that he was dead for 3 days or a UFO took him. I mean, I don't know where these guys get these ideas from.
Hey, Jay, didn't your buddy Jeffrey Daltrey say that
That's
Peter
not
was
my
the first pope? I was just joking with you.
Oh, yeah, he did. Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
It's I don't know how. Well, because the Catholics go off of Peter actually being the first pope. That's what they say
Oh,
because they
sorry.
say,
No, I meant to say Paul. I meant to say Paul. I'm sorry.
oh, yeah, I think I know. Yeah, he did say Paul. One of them. The Catholics say it's Peter though. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know how he comes to that conclusion though.
Yeah, I think he wrote a book about it actually.
Yeah, it's probably just some bullshit though. To be honest, he's not really a smart cat. He's even though he says he has like 20 years of what do you call it? ATT cemetery school.
Yeah. Apostle Tahar calls it, which they call it seminary school, but Tahar
Yeah,
calls it cemetery school.
Well, yeah, Jeffrey Daugherty says he has 20 years of biblical cemetery studies. So that qualifies him to talk about the Bible all in end. So like he's supposedly smarter than all of us.
That's what some of those progressive, quote unquote, progressive Christians say. Is they're like, oh, I'm a openly gay preacher, but I got ordained, so you can't
Oh,
argue with
I
me.
seen Ridge. I actually seen the other day. I was, cruising around on YouTube land, so to speak. Just watching certain stuff, and I saw a video, and it was something along the lines of, a rainbow. You know what I'm talking about? Rainbow person who is actually like a pastor at a church or something. It's like, wait a second, what the hell? How the hell does that make any sense?
Yeah, man.
I
There's
have to clearly
I've
say
been
it's
on I've been on I've been on TikTok, and I've seen transgender pastors, pro BLM, pro abortion, basically hardcore liberal Christians, and it's unbelievable how they twist
I
the
don't even know.
Bible.
I can't even picture how that thing actually is a real thing. A liberal Christian. I can't see that. That they say that Christ is kind of a liberal, and then they say that we should have open borders because Christ would let all the immigrants in. I was like, no, he wouldn't. Have you not read what his new kingdom would look like? He's gonna be turning away a bunch of people. And so, like, I don't get the whole liberal concept of being a Christian. Like, I
Well,
get some instances, but not the full oneness of it.
yeah. Here's how I look at it, Jay. Like, Christianity isn't a video game you get to direct, right? So it goes both ways, right? I don't see how you can be a liberal Christian. Also, don't see how you can be a Republican Christian that like defends and votes for a guy that has had three different wives and supposedly cheated on his wife with a porn star when his son was a
Well,
month
I
old.
mean,
Just
he's not going off if he has three different wives according to the Bible, bro.
well, man, it's like where in the New Testament does it promote anything like that? I know you're going to go back to King Solomon or King David or
All right,
whatever his
let
name
me
is,
give
but
an example on that real quick.
okay.
If you read what is it,
Polygamy.
Matthew 25, you start at verse 1 on down, it gives a parable about 10 virgins getting with one bridegroom. Now I know this is not a literal story; it's a parable. But the question is, if polygamy, the act of having multiple wives to one man, if that was a sin, why would Christ use polygamy as a parable when he's trying to compare that to the kingdom? You know what I'm saying? It just wouldn't make sense. If that was a
Okay,
sin,
well,
why would he use something wicked in a parable that?
that's a good point. But why did he use the parable of was it Peter or Paul killing unclean animals and eating them?
Are you talking about what is that? Acts the 10th chapter, right?
I'm not sure where it's at.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. If you read the chapter, if you go to, I want to say verse 28, in Acts 10, verse 28, it tells you that it was talking about humans, the vision that he's seen, that he should not call any man common or unclean. So that's the vision that he had. That's if you read the whole chapter, that's what it boils down to. Like I'll give it an example. This is why you got to read the whole chapter sometimes. Same thing with what Christ said about, it's not that which goes in the mouth that defiles the man, but that which comes out. If you just read that, it seems like, yeah, you can eat whatever you want. But if you read the context of what he was saying back at verse 2 in Matthew 15, he tells you the whole context is talking about eating food without washing your hands was the entire context. So that's why it's important to get the context at times of verses that we read. Because again, I'll reiterate it. If you just read verse 17 on down in Matthew 15, it sounds like you can eat whatever you want. It sounds like
Okay,
that. But if you get the
uh,
context, we see it. That's not what it means.
like newer translations like the NIV actually say that like Jesus says you can eat whatever you want.
Yeah, I know that, but I wouldn't subscribe to those new translations. They go off.
Well, I used to study that back in the day, actually, man. Like, and they say the newer translations come from older manuscripts coming from like Alexandria, Egypt, or
Yeah,
something.
that's what what's his name? Do you guys remember Red from my Discord, and he joined ETT's Discord, and they're all in that one big Christian mainstream server. They
Yeah.
said the new manuscripts date the older English manuscripts like the KJV we have now. They say the newer ones like the NIV date back even further from the KJV, like they're translated, from
Yeah,
older manuscripts. I don't see how that's possible. I mean, it could be, but there's a lot of stuff that's been removed and
Yo,
taken out.
did you know that they have something called the Queen?
I've heard of that, but I never knew
Yeah,
hey,
what it
I've
by the
was.
way, anybody listening to the live stream, if anybody wants to buy me one of those and send it to my address, it'll be some nice
You should ask
fuel
Perry.
fuel for the
He
fire.
sends out Bibles, and
No, I
that
was
would
talking
be
about
that
the
would be
Queen James
something.
version.
Yeah, that because Perry has a lot of transgender friends and gay people that are his friends, so they can probably get one for him. And all you do is just gotta join his live stream and preach what he says for like an hour, and then he'll send it to you.
Yeah, that'd be pretty
yo,
good for that
Ridge,
fire, man.
That's how
Ridge,
I
get
got
in
my King
contact
James
with
Bible.
me. Ridge, get in contact with me, man. I might be able to send you a couple stuff that you might like, because they have some books you might be interested in. But
Okay,
we'll,
thank
we'll,
you,
we'll
man.
see about that.
Hey,
Yeah, yeah, that's cool.
the other thing I want to talk about, age, it's been so long since we got to talk about the Bible. I'm mainly into politics these days, so it's kind of nice,
Right.
to talk about something different. But what I always found so funny, and I think Jay believes in the Apocrypha too, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, man. So what I always found funny is how like these King James only people who are anti-Apocrypha say, "Oh, the Apocrypha was just put in there for historical value," and
yeah, they I've heard that.
okay, so why would the translator just just grab some? That's like grabbing a random newspaper article and just shoving it in the middle of the Bible. Like, who would do that? If it's, you know what I mean? And like, if they did do that, then that means it's not inspired by God. Like, you think God would want you to just grab some random article from, like that's like putting uh one of Shakespeare's books in the middle of it and
But,
calling
but
it the Middle
Well,
Testament.
here's the
what's interesting? I don't mean to cut anybody off, but now that you mentioned Shakespeare, there's a running idea out there that the King James Version Bible that we have now is actually written by William Shakespeare. It was authorized to be written by him, by King James himself. That's the running idea. I don't know if anybody really subscribes to that, but it's an interesting way to look at it.
yeah, I've never heard that idea before. But going back to something Ridge was saying, the thing that would convince me, regardless of the history of the dealing with the Apocrypha, if it's inspired or not, the thing that would convince me is that you can see where Christ and Apostle Paul, they directly quote um from the Apocrypha. So I mean that would and then there's other ones too, such as Ezra. He's seeing the elect, right? Mind of God always talks about the elect this, the elect that, inside joke. But Ezra and John, they both saw the same vision of the elect, right? Ezra described them as having white robes and palms in their hands, and then John also described them as having white robes and palms in their hands, right? So both of those men living at different times, they both describe the same thing that they seen in their visions, right? So stuff like that shows that it's inspired.
Yeah, no,
Yeah, man.
I've heard that. I got
Yeah,
a question for you, ETT. I don't mean to cut you off, Ridge, but I'll get
yes,
that through
sir.
anyway.
Yeah.
Going back to reincarnation from last night. Have you ever been of the idea that there's other figures that are prophets and their relatives in the Bible are reincarnated at a later date as other important figures? Because there's one that I've looked into. It was actually by some Jewish rabbis. They made the suggestion that Abraham and his brother, I forgot his name. Is it Isaac? No. What was Abraham's brother's name?
Is it
I won't
Jacob?
remember off the top of the head.
Damn, I forgot it. Let me look that up real quick. But yeah, the idea that they made is that Abraham
Would it
and
be
his
Laban,
brother.
I believe?
Let me look it up real quick.
I think it might be Laban.
Let me see. Well, the idea is that Abraham and his brother were reincarnated at a later date, and they became different figures. And so, hold on, I'll look it up real quick for you. So I forgot who they said Abraham would be, so I'm gonna look that up real quick.
So while you're looking it up, can I say
Can
something?
you
Yeah,
yeah,
go ahead.
real quick, Jay, can you put a link in the chat for Ruby? Ruby, you're on the comment section saying some smack, man. Why don't you come up here and we can
Sure.
chat about it? I mean, why are you hiding in the comments, man? Come hop on.
Yeah, hold on though. I think I found it. Let's see. Let's see. No, what the fucking? It brought up Abraham Lincoln. Let's see. Let's see. Where was it at? Where was it at? I forgot who they said he would be reincarnated as, but it was a good I personally, it seems like it could be legit, but I'm trying to find it now. I seen it like a couple days ago.
But to
Um,
answer your question on that, is we'd say that every person, no matter who you are, eventually you'll be reincarnated again in the future. So we're saying that
for
every
sure.
person would be. So that goes for an average man, that goes for a king, that goes for anyone who passes away. You'll be born
So
again
age,
sometime in the future.
Let me look
so
that up
then,
real quick. I'll put a
so
link in the chat though.
who's the reincarnation of Betty Ripson then?
He is.
Oh, and this is the thing, is that we don't remember our past life according to what is that? I want to say Ecclesiastes 1 verse 11. It says the former things are not remembered, right?
Isn't that in
So
Corinthians though, where it says the dead will not remember or something like that? Or
yeah,
which?
it
Or is that
reiterates that.
Colossians?
It reiterates that somewhere else in the Bible as well. I remember reading that. Might be in Corinthians. I'm not sure.
But yeah,
Second Corinthians.
Go ahead.
but yeah, my point was, I mean, I believe the Apocrypha is part of the Bible as well. But like what I was saying was, it's funny how you have these King James only elitists that talk like a bunch of crap about the new
Oh, okay.
version.
I found it now. I found it now. I don't mean to cut you off, Ridge.
Yeah.
So the idea is that they came up with the idea, these rabbis, is that Cain and Abel was reincarnated as Abraham, and that Cain was somebody he knew, Jethro. I don't know who that is. But yeah, that's the idea. And then another one is that Moses is actually Daniel. I don't know if
Yeah,
you
that's interesting. I've never heard that idea.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's some actual Jewish rabbis. I'll send you a link to it.
Yeah, that's cool. Yo, Rudy, man, you're saying reincarnation's not in the Bible. How do you know that? How could you prove that? Now, I'll
I,
say this,
here's
just like how
I
we were
remember my
talking to,
past life.
just like how we were talking with
I
what's
was
his name,
I was John the
with
Baptist.
just like we were talking with Perry yesterday. He's like, oh, the word reincarnation is not in the Bible. It's like, yeah, of course, the word itself's not in the Bible, but the concept is spoken of. Just like how, I'll give an
Yeah,
example.
just like
Just like
what's
how
that other one?
nuclear weapons are not.
UFOs aren't in the Bible,
Yeah,
but
yeah, nuclear weapons and UFOs are not mentioned in the Bible, but it, like, the exact word is not mentioned there, but it iterates to that, right? It speaks about them but calls them different things.
the
So
the
they're in there,
description's there.
right? Yeah, that's a good way to put it. Is it doesn't, like, I'll give an example. America, you can't find the word America in the Bible, but we know it talks about America by certain characteristics that it gives. We can correlate that with America. So of course the word
Hey,
reincarnation is not in the Bible, but it alludes to
hey, he said that he knows it because he reads the Bible. Age.
it. Okay, well, hey, man, why don't you click the link, man? Come hop on here and prove us wrong. I mean,
I
are you a
posted the
scam
link.
man? Yeah, I don't know what the hell this cat's doing, man. He's
Man, we
capping.
need TMOG up here, man. Do you got his phone number?
I asked him for it one time, and I wanted to send him a package, but he told me that he didn't want to give that out to anyone. So I asked him for those in the past, but he didn't want to give them out to anyone. So I don't believe anyone on here has.
So he's homeless right now, is he?
Apparently, because last time we talked, he said he was in an undisclosed location, so he's no longer in his apartment. He doesn't have a car, so it might be in a shelter or something. I don't know where the hell the guy is, but he's not in the house right now.
Wow. How has he been living the last like year without no money?
Oh, I can answer that. I remember asking him maybe, let's say, maybe 16 months ago, I would talk to him and how he's been living because he doesn't work anymore, right? Because he didn't want to, put on the face diaper to go to work. He brings up, what is that, Job 9:24? He says that that's the prophecy about the masks. So he says
What
it's a
was he
sin to
doing
wear a mask.
before that though?
Yeah. Let me answer. Um, whatever. I'm not sure his job that he had before then. He did something like financial or whatever. But how he lived the last, say, 2 years since 2020, is he's lived off of his savings. So he had like 25,000 or so in the bank. So he was living off that for the last 2 years. So now he has no money left now. But that's how he was affording his apartment and stuff. And he also sold his car. So he got a few thousand from that as well, a couple other expensive things he sold. So that's how he's been surviving the last years, 2.5 years. That's how he got by.
Hey,
Damn.
you guys sin to live in Mystery Babylon, ain't that right, Age?
What was that?
I said you guys sin to live in Mystery Babylon.
Yeah, yeah.
You don't have to. It's
Well,
just
let me say this: you can't fully follow the laws in the Bible 100% here. That's why we're
how's
under
that?
grace. Well, I'll give you an example. It says that you're supposed to kill a man who lays with another man. You can't do that here. So that's law you can't follow.
And it also says, like, if you sleep with
Oh, I'll give you
another
another one. I'll
man's
give you
wife.
another one. If you come home and find your wife in bed with another man,
Yeah,
they're both
that's
supposed to
one
be
that I've
they're both supposed to be
I've looked into that
yeah, they're both
deeply.
supposed to be publicly killed, but you can't do that here. If you come home and find your wife in bed with another man and you kill them both for that, you'll be put on the electric chair. You'll get that death penalty. So those are
Yeah,
two laws that you cannot keep today here in America. So that's just two out of the 613.
it's cold, man. Cold world.
Damn, there was something I wanted to bring up, but now it
Oh,
now it slipped
did you
back.
see Ruby's comment, Age? He said he's not going to join because he's playing Apex.
Somebody asked, is Tricks due as yo? Is TMOG confirmed dead?
Not that I know of.
Not that we know of, but he's made some. He's alluded to some acts that he might do to himself in the past live streams that we've been in. So that's why I titled it "Rest in Peace" because we don't know.
Wait, he
Yeah,
actually
we,
said
we
stuff
hope
like that
we
before?
hope that he's fine. We're trying to
He's
get in
yeah
contact
he's
with him.
said that.
Damn, dude, that's horrible, man. That's sad.
I mean, I told him before. I mean, there's no reason that you have to go through with that. I mean, what the hell is the reason? Just because you got something wrong, it's like just humble down, say you got it wrong, and move on. I mean, you don't have to go
Couldn't
to
he
this
go back
extreme.
to being an accountant though? Like, cause
Yeah, he could do that. He could do that, but his whole thing is he doesn't want to wear the mask, and he
Yeah,
also
because that's
doesn't
the
want to
mark of
get
the
the
beast.
do your guys where you live, do they still require that? Cause like people still wear it now where I'm at, but it's a choice, and I don't see
Yeah,
why they
Well,
do.
it
But
depends. Certain places do make you, but some places don't. So
yeah,
it just
it's the
depends.
mark, Age. It's the mark to wear one.
well, where I'm at
Well,
though, it's not required at all. Nowhere requires it unless the places require it, and there's
Ridge,
only
how
like
is?
one
Wait a
out of
second.
10 places that are like that.
How is
Yeah,
wait,
it's not
Ridge,
like
you
that over
said
here
that.
anymore either.
Wait, I got a question, Ridge. You said that it's the MO, right? Let's just
Yeah,
say the M, just so we'll be careful what we say. So you're saying it's the M if you take the mask and wear it.
yeah.
How is that so?
I'm just playing with you, bro.
I thought you were serious there for a second. But
Oh,
here's the thing with the Mind of God, is he says it's a sin to wear a mask, is what he says. But the most ironic part is here it is, but he'll get on us, for wearing a mask if we go to the store and say we're going off. But then he
But
will
hasn't
tell
he
you,
done that
wait,
though
but
at one
let me
time?
finish real quick. But the ironic part is he admits that he puts a mask on so he can take an Uber down to play golf. So it's like, wait a second, what the hell?
Or
So we're
that could
going
be the undisclosed location,
on.
his local golf. What do you even call that? Golf field?
Yeah, something along those lines. Yeah,
Drew's
he's
here. Where's Drew?
yeah, he's at like the Houston Golf Club or something, tournament area. I looked it up on Google one time. They had a video about it. But it's actually a pretty nice place, but that's where he plays golf at.
Nice. Damn man, that's some sad shit. I would never do that myself.
Yeah, it's it's unfortunate, but it is what it is. That's how you gotta look at it. We try to reach out to the guy, but he don't answer. So it's unfortunate.
Yeah, Kyoko, I don't know, cause like in Sacramento County, Yolo County, and like another one, they they're not requiring it at all. Like you can wear it by choice. In some businesses, if they want to, they can make you wear it. But I haven't seen any businesses do that at all. And if they have the sign on the door, people are still going in there anyway without wearing one. Like where I work at, we don't even have to wear one. So like, it's not the same for everybody.
Yeah.
So
Right.
like, I don't know how that's a thing. So
Yeah,
yeah,
but I
I
mean,
don't see how that would be the MOBTB or whatever you want to say. So I don't see how that would be that, because in my situation, it's not required at all, and it's not
well, he
forced or
doesn't.
mandatory.
As far as I know, nobody teaches that a mask is the M. But he's saying that it's a sin regardless, to wear a mask, which I mean that's just ridiculous. He tries to use Job 9:24. It says the earth's given to the hands of the wicked. He covers the faces of the judges thereof. He uses that to try to
Mm.
say that that masks are a sin. So I mean he's just he's reaching with that one. That's clearly some nonsense right there. And the simple-minded will fall for that idea. Like Galapagos will go around reiterating that. So as it goes back to this, guys just hear ideas on the internet that they sound cool, and they repeat it. Same thing with these guys talking about dinosaurs are fake. They heard that idea
Who's
on the
this guy
internet.
right here? Bussy Lee, Peen of Men. Do you know
I have
that?
no idea. I got
Is
no
that
idea.
LOP?
It
Might be
might be.
LOP.
Yeah, but going back to what I was saying is, guys like, say for an example, talking about the nuclear hoax or the dinosaur hoax. They're only
Eric
repeating
Dubé.
that because, yeah, they're just repeating that
Yeah,
because
Eric
that's something
Dubé.
they
Hey,
heard
hey,
somebody else say on the internet.
did you ever hear the people saying Eric Dubé works for the like English government or something like that?
Yeah,
Uh,
because he has a MIBD actor base profile on their website.
I mean, I've there's a look for anyone out there. There's a video exposing them as being a Freemason or some type of government shill. Hell, there's one out there for me. People saying that. So I mean, I don't believe that. I
Where's
think
that
that
at? I want to
people.
see that.
Well, maybe I can find it, but people have been saying that for years. Just ask Andrew Ashby.
Is it? Yeah,
A
Um,
Andrew.
Freemason.
uh,
A
yeah.
little 15-year-old kid at that time is a Freemason.
Well,
Man, no, they were saying they were saying I was working for the Illuminati when I was like 12 or 13.
damn joke, man.
Oh yeah. What is his name? Fuck, what's his Eric Dubé. He has a video of himself wearing a dress. Well, what he was doing is he was pretending to be and imitating as a joke wise other
Right.
YouTubers, and some of them YouTubers that he was mocking were female, so he put on a dress to imitate them. But he could have did that in another way. He didn't have to do all that.
Right.
He's a that I would never do that. I
There's
think
an
that's a
actor.
little too far.
There's an actor-based reality conspiracy about him too. That he's like a part of some royal family in the Netherlands or like
Oh
someplace,
yeah,
and
I
that
seen that one too. I seen that one
yeah,
too.
Prince
There's hella
Prince
shit
like
on that guy.
I forgot like Prince somebody they say he's some kind of prince, and he just like dresses up a little different and is playing the role of the truther.
Yeah, I seen that one too. I seen that one.
Yo,
That
you
that
guys
one
got
was pretty kind of
you guys
out
got
there.
Netflix?
No, but
Uh,
I
no,
bought no wait
I
yeah I do got
do,
Netflix
but
yeah
I don't use it.
I
Yeah,
actually just bought
there used to be a documentary on there. I believe it was called. It was what this guy Mark Sargent, right, about the whole flat Earth thing.
Oh
I
yeah,
believe it
Beyond the
was called.
Curve.
Yeah, Beyond the Curve. You ever
Is that
saw that
still on there?
documentary? I
No,
looked the other day. I looked the other day
I've heard
for
of
it.
it.
I looked the other day for it and I couldn't find it. However, I did watch it before. I thought it was a good video. I thought it was a good documentary, but I looked for it and you can't find it on Netflix anymore. So they must have taken it down or something.
Yeah. No, I haven't watched it. I've seen clips of it, but I haven't actually
Right.
seen the full
What
video.
about
hey,
did you guys ever watch? Oh damn, what's that called? It's The Flat Earth Clues by Mark Sargent.
I
No,
watched
I
it
haven't.
I watched it on there yesterday the remake.
Oh,
I
the
haven't
It
watched
movie.
that either.
Yeah, but and I just ordered for rent part 2, and I'm gonna watch that
Yeah, I
tonight.
like those movies, man. I've actually read the entire book as well. It's that book's long bigger than the Bible, man. But I've read that entire story. It's
Is it
definitely
Yo,
better than the
LOP,
movies?
hop up here,
interesting
dude.
story. What
Oh
was
yeah,
that, Rich?
hey, who is this? David? Yeah, that's David. David, hop up here, man. You said you wanted to
Oh,
talk about TMOG.
oh, oh, damn! Hey, now we got this cat back again.
He was arguing with Perry the other night for like an hour.
What were they arguing about?
Uh, Perry was saying that David doesn't even believe in the Bible, so why is he arguing against it?
Oh,
And
that's a fair point.
what else did he say? Uh, what is his name? David was just calling him like a false preacher and stuff.
Oh man, it's unbelievable, man. But yo, Ridge,
Pretty
what were
funny,
you
man.
saying, man?
Oh, I was asking you, is the It book better than the movies?
Well, let me say this. I definitely enjoyed the
Yeah,
two movies that they
T-Mog,
made,
he's not on
but
YouTube no more, man.
the
For the
book,
time being, I
it's
think. Or where
it,
he's at.
let me say this. If you read the book, it's different from the movies, right? There's like in the book, there's like some type of universe turtle or something that gives them secret knowledge to
Oh
take
wow,
down Pennywise or something like that in the book.
Turtle?
And yeah, if you read it, I believe his name is Naturin or something like that. You can look it up if you're not familiar with it. But yeah, the book is different from the movie in certain ways. But I do enjoy the movies as well. I definitely
have you ever
recommend
watched
reading
the
them.
original It from like the
I
70s
have
or
the
something?
original. I do have the original, but I have not watched it yet. But I do own it.
It's the remake's way better, man.
Yeah,
Yo,
yeah,
what's
I
up,
like the
David?
two
What's
new ones.
going on, man?
What's happening, Jay? Where's Perry? I
He's
don't
not
think
around no more,
shone some
man.
light on him last time.
He's scaring off my subscribers, man. Or he's not scaring them off. It's just they're not ready for him. They're not ready for what he brings.
Hey, David, I
Yeah.
see you said in the chat, flat Earth seriously. So what are you? Because I think all of us on here beside you would subscribe to the flat Earth idea.
Um.
So how would you refute the flat Earth idea as being false?
First of all, it's number one. It's not up to me to refute what is established science. That's more or less, you know, saying what color celery or a carrot is. I mean, it's established. Second, I would have absolutely no problem. You want to believe the earth is flat, go knock yourself out. The problem that I have is when you have absolutely nothing to back up your opinion except your opinion, and you automatically think everything you're saying is
But there
right
is
when
evidence though.
there's no evidence. I mean, dude,
Hey,
Oh,
hey,
I
can I
okay,
mean,
say
really,
something?
if you want to do that,
David,
I mean,
hold on a
ETT,
second.
ETT,
David.
just a question. Whoa, no, back off. Don't do that BHI bullshit with me. We still.
But
If you
what
really
I'm
want to
saying
go with
has
that,
nothing to
when
do
do
with
you
the. What
celebrate
I'm saying has nothing to
Passover?
do with the
If you really want to
BHI
go
though.
with that, let's go over the food laws because these are
Wait a
things that I
second.
could actually establish
Why is
with
it
you with that.
BHI
So don't
though?
do
They're
that.
not all black.
I don't care what they are.
But
I mean,
what I
it's
was going to
bullshit,
ask has
and it's the
it has
same
nothing
kind
to
of
do with that.
methodology
So,
that you
It has
try.
nothing to do with the
so
BHI
David,
though.
Yes.
David, you said that you go by established science. Well, did you know back in the day it was established science that the Earth was flat for like thousands of years? That's what the scientists back then said.
Right, and then Copernicus proved it wrong based on scientific evidence. And I'll take Copernicus, I'll take Newton, I will take
But
Einstein.
they had
Oh,
scientific evidence back
I
then.
mean,
I like
They had scientific evidence back then to prove it that it was flat.
look. Let me tell you this: based on how things are in this world, a globe makes sense. Flat Earth does not. As somebody that has seen the midnight sun, and I know that you guys haven't. And there's two, also being to South America, seeing a different sky. I mean,
the
I've
midnight
seen
sun.
too
What does
much.
that mean?
Pardon?
You said the midnight sun?
Yeah,
Yep.
that's something with Antarctica, right, David?
Well, in this case, this was Alaska, and when I was in Scotland in May, was it May and June? I think there was only like about 90 minutes of twilight, and then it went back to light outside. And
but
What
here's
year
the
was
thing.
this?
what year it was? That was when I got married. I was married in Scotland, and that was 1996.
Oh dang, man, you've been around for a while, haven't you? What are you
I'm
like?
seasoned.
55?
60.
Oh, damn, I didn't know that.
Yo, real quick. So David, at what altitude can a person with their own eyes see the curvature of the world?
Yeah, you know what? Again, you're talking about absolutely ridiculous, irrelevant factors.
So there's not
Because
about-
look, ETT. Let me just say this: you're a 19-year-old kid. You're allowed to be young and stupid. Okay.
What
but
about
when
all the
you're
pilots
trying
that
to do
testified
this,
about the Earth being flat?
pardon?
I said, what about all the pilots that said the Earth is flat? Like, there's been pilots that said they can see one country from another.
Because I have a mind, and because I also know a little bit about the science, and because I don't live before the 1600s, and I don't need the Catholic Church to try to persecute anybody that thinks otherwise. And that's exactly what the flat Earth, cult is trying to do. Because if you don't believe this stuff, and you've got enough scientific evidence to back it up.
Oh, hey.
Yeah,
oh, no, you dick. There's a dude on here. He named himself TMOG, so I click on it. It's not even TMOG. I don't know. I think it's, I don't know who this is, but we'll add him on.
Yeah. So where is the where is the monkey worshipping Hindu? I mean, I'd love to speak with him.
Jay, you should put up a banner just so
there we go.
We don't know what this guy's gonna do.
I think it's a rebel or somebody.
Yeah, whoever it is, you better open up the mic and say something.
Man, you guys suck, man. I've been waiting for him.
Yeah, that's dark right there. Whoever did that, I mean that's messed up right there.
The name shows up as Robel Andreas.
So wait, so for David, do you believe the official science about? I don't want to get Jay a strike. But let's say, do you believe the Fauci science? Because you said we can't question the established.
No,
science,
first of all, that was okay. Let me go. If you want to go into that particular subject, which I think you're able to talk about on YouTube, but for the sake of your channel, I'm not going to go into detail. But I happen to know and be involved and know a little bit and have been impacted a little bit more on that than any of you three have. And one thing I do remember at that time in history, there was a lot of fear that was going on. People were genuinely afraid because it was a big time unknown. Truth be told, as time went on, it was pretty obvious that you did need to question what the official line was. And based on further proof, let's just say it just seems to be a bag of hot air and nothing more. At least that's my opinion. I was somebody that had that.
I'll give you my opinion. My opinion is fuck the science. It's all bullshit. just go off of what the biblical cosmology behind that would be, and
Well, that's the thing,
what
Jay.
it
Like,
says, that it doesn't allude to anything about globe at all.
well, that's the thing, Jay. The scientists that aren't on the government payroll actually go along with the Bible, and it proves the Bible's existence. You know,
What are you referring to? Are you
like
talking about that event, or are you talking flat Earth? What are you referring to?
We're
uh,
talking about
well, like
uh
the thing I was trying to say is like he was
he's
somewhat
saying that
established.
the scientists that are out there, they're not working for the government. So, I mean, they are working for the government. So, they try to dispute the Bible any way they can. And this
Yeah,
kind of
exactly.
Okay, let me go into a little further detail on that particular subject.
And then after you do, I want to ask something.
Fine.
I think I could remove
Definitely
this
not.
layer.
I'm not a medical guy, but I am a numbers guy, and the statistical analysis is pretty clear that you were gonna get hit if you were 65 and older, obesity, if you had respiratory conditions, combination of all of those, unhealthy
Damn, I
lifestyle.
have all
It was
that right
pretty
now.
obvious because that I mean, it was like who had the fatalities. But the issue that I ran into is when you're looking to put something in somebody that is 5 or 6 years old, where there is no scientific and no statistical data to where it makes any sense. At that stage, I definitely see where no, I would not. I would
Yeah,
definitely.
see, and we agree on that, man. And that's my point. Like, that is quote unquote established science. What Fauci says, right? Because you got people saying, "Oh, we can't question
Don't
Fauci."
say the
No,
guy's last
that
name.
wasn't established.
Don't say his last name.
Yeah, no.
I'm
First of
sorry,
all, that
man.
wasn't established. I mean, there was a lot of theories that were out there. The fact that he had economic interests that he didn't disclose, to me, that I think was a very, very big sign. The other problem that I have is that if you took a look at various studies, they were contradicting what the cities, they were contradicting what the powers to be in America were
Right,
saying.
right.
And that's where I've had a serious issue. Now, let me
Dave,
go into.
would you call yourself a conspiracy theorist? Do you follow like topics like that?
No, I mean, to me, I was just looking strictly at the numbers. And let me just say this: if I was, 70 years old and in bad health, would I think that yes, I've got to, take better care of myself? No question about it. I have a friend of mine. She is 55 years old. She's a breast cancer survivor, so she definitely has to go with the higher level of care. But for the majority of people, the numbers prove that they're wrong, and that's all I go by.
Yeah, yeah. So that's my point, man. So scientists can be balled out on that subject, right? So how do we know they can't be balled out on the flat Earth subject as well?
Because essentially, if you're talking about my opinion, that's going to be strictly common sense and also based upon being at different parts of this globe at different times of the year. A flat Earth does not make sense, but a round Earth does.
I want to ask something real quick. What do you think about Joshua chapter 10, verse 12? It says that
Why
the
are
sun
you
and the
why are
moon are the
you
ones in
cherry
motion.
picking one verse that I have not looked at nor prepared for, or taking something out of context?
Well,
Scripture is a
because
commingled message.
its own
Look,
subject.
as I said, don't do that BHI bullshit with me. You don't
But the
take scripture out
BHI
of
don't even
context.
believe
Look,
in
I
this.
would
But the
slam
BHI don't
ST
even believe in
Deacon,
this
I would
idea
slam
mostly.
Gorilla Hebrew the same way. This
But
shit does
this
not
has
fly.
nothing to do with
Because
that
you
group
want to know
though.
something, ETT? You still have not been able to say why you celebrate Passover on the wrong day according to the Torah.
Okay.
So
Well, wait
until
a
you
second.
can do that,
Well,
I don't want to hear any of your
Come on,
crap.
get out of here.
David,
Get out of here.
David, it has nothing to do with that group. The
Yes, it
question
has
I'm
something to
asking you.
do with it because
They
you
don't.
ran from that.
They don't
You
even
ran
believe
from
in
that
that.
and you
They don't
ran
even
from the
believe in that.
Torah. So you don't
They
have a
don't
right
even
to
believe
quote
in
scripture.
the flat Earth
You
theory.
don't have a right to quote scripture. I don't need to hear that shit from you. And you're also looking at a translation and you haven't even looked at what the real Hebrew says. And I find it really funny that your heroes, none of them know the real Hebrew. None of them do. And if you and I'm just curious, are you ready to come at me with the it's not Hebrew, it's Yiddish line? Because I'll slam you, I'll slam you to the wall on that as well.
Can
Trust me,
we
dude,
find
you
out
do
who
not
this
want to take me
TMOG is
on with
though? I
this.
think that's more interesting.
Yeah,
What's
yeah, yeah.
that?
Let's figure out this guy.
There's
Go
some
ahead.
dude that hopped on here with TMOG's name, but I have it where you have to be verified to join. So the verification shows a guy named Robel Andreas or
Yeah,
Andres.
yeah. Who the hell is that? Whoever did
I
that has
think
a
it's
dark sense
Rebel
of humor.
Nazarene. I think, but I can be wrong.
I mean, that's
Okay,
totally messed up, right
Could it
there.
be LOP?
No, it's not LOP
Okay.
so
because
David,
he shows up as
Yeah.
authenticated as LOP.
so the other question I'd like to ask is, do you subscribe to the Hollow Earth theory? Are you familiar with that? That's like a lesser known,
It's not
kind
No,
of like
lesser known.
I've never heard of that before. But based on
The supposedly Admiral Byrd went to I'm not sure if you're familiar with who that is, but he led explorations into Antarctica,
Right.
and they found civilizations and entrances that went inside the earth. So the whole hollow earth theory comes is that there's civilizations and other
yeah, like
conscious
dinosaurs
entities
and
that live
Nephilim giants,
inside
etc.
do you
the
have
world.
any video or picture evidence to confirm this?
Well,
No, but there are footages, like old ass footage from aerial views of planes and Admiral Byrd filming other lands. Like there's this large grassland within Antarctica, and like there's supposedly more land masses out there that he filmed. So there's that. There's not inside the earth though.
Yeah, I would have to say that that definitely would not. I mean, I know there was something I think where the Nazis were looking to build a base down there.
Yeah, that's
I
kind
don't.
of where that
Yeah,
also leads
I don't
into.
buy it. I don't buy it because that would be a little bit tough to hide if it was the case. I can't buy that.
Okay, here's another thing. Would you be of the idea that there's actually like maybe other continents that the governments keep hidden from us, or like other islands, or like what Admiral Byrd showed, like other land masses they don't tell you about? Like, would you subscribe to that?
Well, considering that Google Earth essentially has the entire globe, and you could zero in at any particular point, probably not.
What
So that
about previous civilizations that no longer exist? Like, you ever believe in the Atlantis? I kind of follow that a little bit.
I think that there was some place that existed that would resemble Atlantis. I could see where stuff like that would happen. I could see where natural disasters could have made stuff like that occur. So the
Okay,
answer is yes.
well that's something.
But at
well,
the time, that to me is a little bit more believable. It's just
here's
that
a
Do you believe in what NASA's given us as far as their video with space and photographs? Do you believe in those?
yeah, I do.
But they emit their composite images though.
Then
You know
now,
who
first of all, when you're talking about, all right, let me ask you this, ETT. What's your background and what's your skill set and knowledge base in the subject of science and interstellar space? Because I have a feeling it is questionable at best.
he's read the whole Bible, man.
That's the Bible, but you're talking science right now, and you're
Well,
talking about
they correlate with
science.
each other.
So science is say for an example, I should be able to perform experiments myself to confirm my theories, right? So you're
okay,
asking
and
me.
you
Wait a
think
second,
that
just
you
to
have enough
clarify. Wait,
skill.
hold
I
on,
found a
David,
LinkedIn
hold on a
page.
second.
Hold on,
Wait.
everybody. I found a LinkedIn page for Rebel Andreas, Rock Wall team member, Lifetime Fitness. I found Instagram, found Facebook. I found a Ethiopian kid named this. Um, I found food GMOs, water health educator, food security in the U.S. by Rebel Andreas. Food security in the U.S. PDF, Africa Ventures, name directory. I'm not going to be saying that. Somebody in Canada. Oh, that's interesting. Um, Hmm.
Right, but David, when you ask me my scientific background, you're basically asking me how many hours I've studied these scientific books that they have written, right?
No, what I'm saying is that you are trying to use a very limited
Oh,
understanding
they
of what is a
left.
complex subject. Now, as far as the whole thing with 1969 science with pictures and all that, the way I understand it is that multiple pictures were taken and it was essentially glued together as one picture. The other thing is that when I take a look at what SpaceX is doing, when I take a look at the fact that Russia has launched stuff into the air, the fact that India has, that China has, that Israel has, I
Well,
can't see how
how do you
you
know
can
they
get.
did?
What's that?
I said, how do you know they did? Like, how do you know it wasn't CGI?
Well, then I guess CGI, you could use that to explain the Bible. I mean, if you don't want to believe something, even if it's, what does it come down to? If you, I mean, do you need to be taken into space?
No, but you see, but here's the problem though, is the images they give us are clearly cartoon images. They're not real. Like I'll give an example. On the photo that we have of Pluto, you can actually see Pluto the dog from Disney
What the hell
on
are you
the planet.
talking about? Do you have any idea how
Have you
far
not seen
Pluto
that
is?
picture, man? Have you not seen
Are
that
you are
picture?
you serious?
No,
Are
I'm
you
serious. That's
serious?
the
Let
official
me ask you
NASA
this: how
picture,
long
man.
did it take Voyager to get to Pluto? How long did it take there?
How long
How
it
long did
take?
it take to get to interstellar space?
I don't believe it went
Okay,
there.
fine. So you're talking about a probe that was launched in 1977.
Jay, can you pull up that
Okay,
picture, man?
that wait a minute. That had to
Um,
use the gravitational pull or
which
to bounce
picture?
off of
The
Jupiter
you
to
know
increase
the
the
picture
speed
of
to
the
go.
official
Okay,
NASA
and what did
picture
it
of
take?
Pluto
40
with the
years to get
Pluto
to
dog
Pluto,
on it? You know what
and
I'm
Oh
you
yeah,
talking
think
about?
that
yeah. Let
you've
me
got
bring
the
that up.
ability
Yeah,
to
yeah. Let's get
question
there.
it? Come
Yo,
on.
David, this is an official picture from NASA
Oh,
of the
please.
planet
You have
Pluto.
any idea? You're talking a 1977 probe. And look, if you don't want to believe anything but what your BHI overlords tell you, fine,
Wait, but
knock yourself out.
BHI
But what
does
you're
not believe
saying
in the flat Earth
is that
theory.
because your limited skill set can't believe it, so therefore it's not true. You've said
David,
this stuff
and
over and over again. Then
this shows
But
you
spare
have
me.
no
hold
But
idea.
hold
here's the thing, ETT.
hold
Even when
on,
I
David.
Okay,
have
Though.
proven
David,
something, yeah.
chill,
David,
man,
David.
chill.
The Black Hebrew Israelites, they don't believe in flat Earth. That's something that they're heavily against.
No,
Yeah,
that's fine.
so that proves. Wait a second. So how could you say it that we're using the BHI nonsense here if you
Well,
agree that they
here's
don't believe in what we're
here's the
saying?
one thing. When you start
That's
doing the
illogical.
cherry picking, yeah, what about it?
Do
What
you see
about
the
it?
picture, David? Do
Yeah,
you see
what
the
about it?
picture on the screen?
What about it?
So okay. So that you're telling me
It's Pluto supposedly
Yeah, what
in the
about it?
image.
why would Pluto be on the planet of Pluto if it's a real picture of the planet? That doesn't make sense.
And again,
What
it
would
took
the
you 40
coincidence be
years to
behind it?
get there, older technology, and I'm really, really sorry that you couldn't ride shotgun while that thing was going into space for 40 years.
Okay. So
I mean, it's
can you
absolutely
answer
ridiculous
the
with your
40.
limited understanding of how science works. Now, for whatever, because what you're essentially saying is you don't want to believe anything you don't want to believe. And it's too bad TMOG is not here
I
because
should
that
believe
numbnut
this.
does the same
Wait
thing.
a second, David. David, should I believe this picture we have on the screen here? Should I believe that's real?
Actually, I would say yes because I remember. Let me just say this: I'm old enough to remember when that thing was launched, and I'm old enough to remember when that thing first got to Saturn and then to Jupiter. I'm old
Saturn.
enough to also. Here's the other thing: the mathematical calculations with the speed that probe was going and what it took to go from Saturn to Jupiter completely matched up. Okay, that thing was also, for whatever reason, was able to show. I believe it was either Neptune or Uranus. I think it might be Uranus, where the planet was
Uranus.
actually on its side based upon with the north and the south pole. Now, why would you make something like that up if you're NASA? Because
Where?
you, with your limited understanding in 2022, without any kind of scientific background, you're ready to say, well, what's real and what's not real, and you followed.
I'm
Because
just
what I find
asking.
amazing is when
Wait a
TMOG was
second,
making his
David.
comments, who,
David.
by the way, TMOG was a complete fucknut who knew
Okay,
absolutely
David.
nothing about this
No,
I want
shit.
to
man,
answer
he
something.
might be gone, man. You can't be saying that.
Hold on a second. I want to say something. So,
Like,
David, I
what
Oh
if
yeah,
showed
he
you.
actually did
I
do
want
that?
to say something. I want
Go
to say
ahead.
something. David, are you familiar with the so-called 24-hour NASA live streams?
Yeah.
Well, I can actually verify that that's not real.
How do you do that?
I have a friend whose brother actually screenshotted some of those images and like reversed them on some website, and it's all fake, man.
Yo, can you send me? Can
I
you
would,
send me
I
a
would,
link
yeah,
to that?
I would have to
Send
question
me
the
some
validity of what
information
you
on that.
just said.
I'll check that out.
Huh?
I wonder
I
if
would
that
have to
was
Send me
question
a
the
really
link to
validity of
that.
it.
What you're saying, man. I want to check that out.
Man, I wish that dude would have said something. I wonder that couldn't be TMOG. That couldn't have.
Well, I heard he unmuted the mic for a second, but it was like an echo from David because he was speaking. So he did unmute it for just a
Yo,
split
Rebel,
second.
man, hop back up here. We'll verify if you're TMOG or not, man. Oh wait, did he comment in the back chat? Somebody said something about reincarnation.
Yeah, he said he's Mind of Golf and Reincarnation.
Oh, okay, never mind. That's kind of cold, man. Who would do that?
Yeah, that's ridiculous right there. So David, so the reason we brought that up is it shows on the planet Pluto, there's literally Pluto the dog from Disney. On that picture, that's an official
Oh my
NASA
God!
picture.
No,
You know
hold
what?
on.
If
I
you
want, I
want to
want,
believe what you want to believe,
I want David
then
to
go ahead.
address.
You're looking for every excuse.
I want David to address the fake NASA live streams, though.
For one thing, you don't have the background to confirm or deny what they have, but I find it real interesting
I
why
do.
on earth they would want to fake a live stream. What is that again? What is? And by the way,
Are you that
what
stupid
about
that you
Deception.
can't
Elon
figure
Musk? You
that
say
out? Are
Elon
you
Musk is
that
making
mentally
stuff up too?
retarded that you can't figure that out? Why they would
Elon
want to
Musk
fake
is
that?
actually a woman.
Elon Musk is a very successful business person who seems to know technology, I think, a smidgen better than than the four of us. So I have a very difficult time believing he's not able to do what he's doing.
He might be able to be doing what he's doing, but here's the thing, though, is that he's lying to us all, regardless about anything he's doing, is
Really,
because actually he's not really a man. He's a
Yo,
woman.
hold on
you
a
know what?
second. Did you guys see
First
the
of all,
clip?
that is
Wait a second, David. I want to say something. Did you guys
He
see the
has
clip
he has the
when
facial features of a woman.
Hold on a
Mhm.
second. Elon Musk was saying that about the car that he launched into space. He was saying it looks so something along the lines of it looks so real that it's fake or something along those lines. Jay, did you see that?
Oh God.
It looks so real
Yeah,
that it has
you
to be
know what,
fake.
ETT, you're
Yeah,
right.
that's
Everything
what
is
he said.
conspiracy. You, with your limited schooling, knows everything.
No,
Your
but
heroes at
I
the
didn't say that.
BHI, they are experts on everything.
But
And you're
BHI
right.
doesn't believe in
Everybody
that
is
thing.
stupid. And so the fact, I mean, what I find interesting about this, especially about Elon Musk, this was a guy that built a car company that is bigger than the big three in Detroit as far as
He's an
market
African American
capitalization. So I have a
No,
feeling he's
he's not.
probably a smidgen smarter than you guys. Okay,
How do you come up with that, Rich?
because he was born in South Africa, so
he was
technically he's an
born in
African
South
American.
Africa. Yep,
Oh,
he's an
Yeah,
okay, yeah, kind of. I get it.
yeah. Okay, but the other question I have for David is, you said what does NASA benefit from all this, right?
yeah.
Okay, what about all the tax dollars, like the trillions of tax
Yeah,
dollars that go to them every year?
50 million every 24 hours they get.
Okay, fine. So NASA is faking it. Elon Musk is faking it. Russia's faking it. India's faking it. China's faking it. Israel's faking it. Got it. Okay.
David, did you
Everybody's
know
faking it,
NASA
but you
admits
guys are
that
real. Hey,
why
no. You convinced me. You absolutely convinced me because you're
Did we?
definitely qualified to have an opinion on this. Got it.
That was
okay,
fast. Nice.
okay,
So
so
how does somebody become qualified to have an opinion on it? Is it by going to a university or
Look,
something?
I don't think being on a chat board with very limited knowledge base and no studying, but looking for every conspiracy theory
We
probably
know
is
this.
not the way to
We
go.
know the scriptures, though.
And, and what I find fascinating about this is that all of these countries, according to you guys, are in some kind of conspiracy, even though they are
One world
basically enemies.
government, man.
But whatever. Look, whatever. I mean, it doesn't make much sense talking to a rock. And this is basically what it feels like, because you're looking for every excuse. I mean, ETT, I've seen what you've done with the Bible, and it seems you're doing the same thing with this. And what I find is you still have yet. Why don't you answer when you celebrate Passover, and why don't you answer about the food laws? Because you definitely do the Hebrews hopscotch when it comes to pork. And if
Well,
you want to
what do
avoid
you
it, then that's
what do
fine,
you
because
mean
I
by
know
that?
you can't answer these questions, or you know that you're wrong. One of the two.
Well, what do you mean by that?
What do I mean by what? Which one first?
But you mentioned pork about that. Well, what do you mean by that?
Well, the meat that you eat, is does it go through kashrut food laws? Is a process that way? Because I guarantee you it's not. I could tell you that all you BHI heroes are not doing it. Guaranteed, without a shadow of a doubt. They make shit up as they go along.
So you're saying, wait a second, just to clarify. So you're saying that if we don't, uh, I'm at a loss for what you're saying. So you're saying that beef, right, for a cow's meat would
Yeah.
be like pork if we don't
If it's not
prepare
done
it a
according
certain
to the
way?
kosher standards, it's the same.
I
Yeah,
wouldn't.
there's the what is it? There's a ceremony you have to perform on the meat to make it kosher or edible to
Oh, it's a long
the Old
process.
Testament law.
It's
And
it's a long
if
process.
you
And
don't do that, the meat that you're trying to make kosher, if you don't make it kosher, then that beef is compared to pork and all others.
yeah, I mean, let me just say this: pork or the meat. Do you know what kosher salt is?
Yeah,
Do
we
you know
use
what
that
it's
where I
used
work
for?
at.
Right. So ETT, you know what kosher salt is. You know what it's used for. Let me ask you. You've
No,
read
he
the
didn't say
Bible,
that. I said that.
right? Okay. You've read the Bible. You know that the Bible is very specific about not consuming blood. Am I correct?
Yes.
Okay. So we're very specific. All right. So we got that. So what happens? Okay. And let me ask you. I think you know a thing or two about the red heifer, and you can't have the spot on it. Well, according to kosher food laws, you
I
cannot
know that
have.
from South Park.
Right. You cannot have a piece of meat or a side of meat that's going to have any blemishes, number one. Number two, it has to go into a bath for about an hour and change because you're looking to remove the blood. Number three, okay, then the next step is you have to then make sure that that the blood is completely gone, and that's when you use the kosher salt to try to draw the blood out.
Oh,
And
is that
then
why
you
they
have to
call it that?
remove,
I always
what's that?
wondered that. I said, is
Right,
that
and
why they
then you
call it
have to
kosher
remove the
salt?
sciatic nerve and other certain areas. Like, for example, you're not going to find a kosher filet mignon because it simply cannot be done.
This in
So,
the Bible?
pardon?
I said this stuff's in the Bible.
No, it's in there. I mean, you're not supposed to consume blood. I mean, the kosher food laws are very, very specific, and I could tell you that those that think that they're following it are definitely not following it. I mean,
Wait. So
look,
David.
you don't want the
So every
blessing from the
time
rabbi.
that you
Wait a
eat,
minute.
you're doing that.
I say that again.
So every time that you eat meat, you go through that process.
Well, for those that are going to keep the food laws, either you're going to buy it from an established source that does it, and I could tell you
That's
that
expensive, though.
it's very expensive. Agreed, but I haven't seen any BHI kosher BHI
Well,
butchers.
I'd say that what's the word I'm looking for? Because I did some research into it, and I'd say it's something that the Jews over in Israel are doing right now. But
I actually agree with David on
with
this.
The circumstances
What
that we're
what are
in
you
today.
talking about? So you're
Wait.
saying that
Let
blood
me
doesn't
finish my.
matter?
Can I finish my statement?
Go ahead.
So, say for an example, with the level of poverty that we're living in today, over where we're at, a lot of us don't have the time nor the funds to be able to do this with our food. But
No,
you
like
name me, who the hell has the time to be able to say go through the 2 hours of preparation
well,
in the
age,
way that you're describing there?
age.
We
I think,
really can't do
I think David's point is, since you preach so much about
Yep,
following these food laws, you should follow all of it, or like don't be
correct.
judging other people,
Well,
right?
I disagree with his understanding because again, he's an
No, it's not my
Ashkenazi
understanding. It's
Jew, so
biblical scripture, and what
he's
you're
of
doing
the
is that you were
position
looking to
that the
follow
What
people
men.
over there are
thumbnail?
the real Jews.
No, you're looking to follow men. You're not looking to follow the Bible because then you shouldn't be preaching how terrible pork or shrimp is. Because from a biblical standard, non-kosher beef, non-kosher chicken
Well,
is the same
I
as that.
disagree.
So
I
you know what?
disagree
The
with your position on
hypocrisy
that.
that you follow,
It has
and
dank in that, you said?
unfortunately, what's that?
You said it has dank in it? Like marijuana?
What are you talking about?
Dank. Dank, that's slang for marijuana.
Yeah, I'm not that old. Yes, I know, but no, nothing to do with marijuana.
Oh, okay. So,
Yeah, I disagree with your position.
What disagree? This is biblical. This has nothing to do with me.
Well, I
This has
said,
nothing to do with me.
say for an example, are you following all the 613 laws today?
No, considering that I
he
don't
doesn't follow
menstruate, I
that
don't
though.
think menstruating is really a thing. And as far
Yeah,
as
dude, like
do you know how to separate intentional from non-intentional sin?
age, like yeah, like
Oh,
David.
man.
David's point is, you know, like if you preach
David's
the law, you
Jewish.
should follow the law. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't. I'm not in agreement with what he's saying
How
that.
could you not be in agreement? This is
Well,
Bible
I
I'm
mean,
talking about.
well,
This
well,
is
I mean,
biblical.
you mentioned. Wait a second. You mentioned the Bible a lot of things, but most of the things you're saying are incorrect, such as you
No,
mentioned
they're
land
100%
shift.
correct. Are you allowed to consume blood? Tell me
So
something. Do you
you mentioned.
understand? Wait a minute. Are you allowed to consume blood according to your scriptures? Yes or no?
No.
Okay. So if you're not allowed to consume, then you need to withdraw the blood as much as possible. When you slaughter an animal, does it have to be slaughtered in a specific way? And yes, the answer is yes. That is according to the Bible. And I guarantee you, the meat that you are buying at the supermarket and your heroes are buying at the supermarket have not hit that standard. So if you're going to pick and choose, that's fine. You're entitled to do whatever you want,
Well,
but do not
let me
stop
say
pointing
this.
the finger at somebody that eats pork or
David,
somebody that eats shrimp.
David,
You have no right to
we
do
do.
that. You're
Oh,
being a
okay,
hypocrite.
David. You hold on a second. You just admitted you don't follow all the laws, so you're cut there.
Dude,
But
the point
let
is you
let
are
me
No,
ask you
dude,
something.
preaching
dude,
and you're a
no,
hypocrite
David.
because you don't follow shit. So you have
Either
nothing to say.
David's point
can
is, age. David's point is like if you preach the law and preach this about food, you should follow it too. Like he don't believe it, but he's just using your logic. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but what I'm saying is that we can't fully do this today because, say for an example, just like how they'd have to perform sacrifices, they had to go to the temple and sacrifice the animal.
Dude,
We can't
you
fully
see,
do
this is
that
where
in
you
the
have a
time
very
that we're
limited
in.
understanding. So you're saying the Jewish people can do it, but you guys can't, right? And that's the case. I happen to agree with you because you can't.
Ooh,
We
burn
can't
ETT.
we can't fully
Wait,
keep the laws.
Yeah. I
Okay,
see. So the
David
David.
Jewish
shot
people
said
can
me.
Hey,
do
hold on
something.
a second.
They've done it for
David,
centuries,
I
and
want
you
to say
people, you're
something or I'm going to
incompetent.
drop. Are you going to
Okay,
let me
we
say
agree.
something? Can
Go
I
ahead.
say something? Okay, dealing with the Passover, you're supposed to burn what you have left over. Okay,
Dealing
you're
with the
telling me,
Passover
well,
celebrated the 15th of Nisan. You don't celebrate it
okay.
the same day as the Jewish
Can I
people.
finish?
So
Hey guys, can I say
Either
something?
you let me
He
either you
doesn't
let me
follow
finish or
the
I'm going to drop.
Jewish
Either you let
calendar.
me
Hey guys,
finish or
can I
I'm
say
going to
something real
jump
quick?
because I don't have
Real
time
quick.
to deal with.
David,
Hey
would
guys,
that be the lunar? Hold on, David, would
hey
that
guys,
be the lunar calendar? Is what you're talking about?
I'm talking about according to Leviticus 23 and ETT. You know Leviticus is in the Torah. Passover is 15th of Nisan. You guys
But
don't do 15th of Nisan.
Wait,
You're
but David,
following
hold on.
man. You're not
David,
following the Torah.
you
End
made
of
a statement and
discussion.
I wanted
You
to
lose.
respond.
What's that?
Jay, can you put this guy on mute so I can
he'll
respond,
be
man?
hey
quiet.
Every
All right,
time I
guys,
I'll
can I
go
say
speak,
on
you
something
mute
get
real quick?
talked over,
voluntarily.
man.
Hey guys, my phone's about to die, so I'm about to head out. But nice talking. The last thing I want to say is David.
Ooh,
It
we
was
got
nice,
somebody else trying to join. Somebody named ETT. Rebel
but
Andreas, the guy that showed up as TMOG, he's back as ETT.
anyway, what I was saying was, David, what I want you to do is I want you to research the Bohemian Grove for me, man, and see what the government's doing behind closed doors, and then ask would those
Okay.
people tell us the truth about the Earth? Okay, I'm about
Okay.
to leave, guys. See you later.
I'll do. Have a good night now.
You too, man.
Okay. Now dealing with the Passover, right? You're supposed to burn the rest of the meat and whatever is left over, but we can't go around doing that right now. So we do what we can to the
we
best of our.
technically can.
Well, let me wait a second. Let me clarify. Most of us live in apartment complexes or in neighborhoods, so we can't really make a big
True.
fire and burn the rest of it, or we'll have the police at our house. So we follow the laws the best we can, but there's certain things that we cannot perfectly keep in the time we're in. So that's why
The
we're under
best of
grace.
our availabilities.
Right. So that's
But
one
what
thing
does that?
dealing with
But
the
what does that
Passover that
have
we
to
can't
do with
fully keep right.
celebrating on the wrong day?
Well,
What
I
does that have
mean,
to do with that?
well, okay, but let me ask you a question. How do you know that it's January 22nd, 2022. How do you know? Did you just hear
You know
them say
what?
that, or like
I mean,
how do
so
you
in other
know
words, you're going to
realistically?
look for every excuse. So now you're going to defend
No,
men
no, but
over
I'm
Scripture.
seriously
No,
asking,
what you're saying
how
is
do
you're
we
looking for
actually
every
know,
excuse, and this is what I expect from somebody like you. You couldn't care less about
David?
the truth.
How?
You know
Wait a
the
second.
well. Let me put it this way. If you
Oh
think,
man.
or I'll tell you what. Why don't you Google when the 15th of Nisan is, and do it for the last, I don't know, 2,000 years. And I think you're going to have a pretty good idea when the
Yo,
15th
Damien,
of
man,
Nisan
hop up
was.
here.
Since you don't care about that, and since you'd rather follow your GMS overlords because you seem to worship men over the Torah, hey, you know what? That's
Taurus
fine.
Paul, man.
But don't do that little bullshit with me
Oh, and
because
everyone
dude,
keep in
you
mind
are
that that's
cut to
coming from a man
smithereens
who
on
doesn't
this.
even believe in
You
the
are
Messiah.
cut to smithereens. I'll use your words on this. Your Torah says I'm right and you're wrong. Case closed. You're cut to smithereens, and I would do this with anyone from a
Hey,
camp that
David,
you follow. Period.
who are going to be your slaves in the kingdom of heaven, if you don't mind me asking?
There is no slaves in the kingdom of heaven. We don't follow that BHI bullshit. And if you were actually
But
followed what
Perry
the Torah
believes in that
said,
too,
you
though.
would
He
have
said that
followed it.
last night.
Pardon?
Perry says he believes that he's going to get slaves too in the kingdom. He said that
Well,
last night.
Well, Perry's going to, hopefully the lake of fire is real because Perry deserves to go in the center of it. But no, I mean, I'm sorry. Because, here's another thing. There is no hell mentioned in your Old Testament. None. None.
Okay, so
So,
what
so
happens to
tell me
wicked people
during the
when they
time
die
of
then?
Jesus, that's when it got created?
Well, I
Can
mean,
you,
we can
David,
find hell reserved too.
can you change your profile picture and your thumbnail picture to ETT so we can be the Four Musketeers up here?
All right. How do I do that? I'm on an
Uh,
iPad.
you'd have to download the picture, then upload it. You don't have to do it if you don't want to.
Okay. I'll do that in the future. I promise.
Wait, so there's not
We're
going to be any
twinning right now.
slavery. There's not going to be any slavery in the kingdom of heaven.
Your interpretation, which is one reason why it's dangerous that you guys don't go by the Hebrew, but you go by the KJV, is beyond flawed.
So
And
what do you
it,
think about what is that? What do you think about Isaiah the 14th chapter starting from verse 1 on?
yeah, Isaiah 14:1. Yeah, it's going to be called Israel. Yeah, I mean, I know about that. What about
But
Genesis
Israel, it says
28?
that they're going to
Whoa, whoa.
take their
What about
enemies
Genesis
and rule
28,
over.
14, 15? Scripture is a commingled message, right? Or you're going to continue to cherry pick and take things out of context.
I believe the subject was slavery, right?
Yeah, the subject
Reincarnation.
was slavery, and through Israel, all nations shall be blessed. And if you want to cherry pick stuff and take it out of context, you're going to be able to find and create any narrative you want. And congratulations, that's why you've got 1,000 branches of Christianity, because that's exactly what's being done. Somebody's
David,
going to
I have a
waste certain parts of
question
the
for
Bible.
you.
Yeah.
So, were you religiously Jewish at one time, or did you just you know how like your family's religious and you grow up religious, so like that's kind of what you are. But like, did you ever do that any of that yourself? Believe any
Okay.
of that?
Here's the background. My father was raised Orthodox, and he sort of became a lot more liberal as he got older with it. I was raised on the Reformed conservative line.
The other person here wants to chime in as well, just to put it out.
Okay.
Yeah, but I had oh wait, hold on. There's like hella people joining. Damian Turner, yo, what's up, man? And then there's another ETT joining.
Oh my.
But you said your dad became liberal. What about
he
your
became he became a lot more liberal in the interpretation of it. And what actually swung me, I was not really probably until about 20 and change years ago, and that's when I had a Baptist church that was trying to save my chosen ass. And when I saw that they had misinterpreted scripture, that's when I decided to go back into the Hebrew. And I saw that everything that they were doing, it was a fraud. And this is where this is where I started diving into it. And then I started seeing what other people do. And basically, what other people do, they create their own narrative. There's a reason why Perry does the shit that Perry does. There's a reason why the BHI preach on the street corner and they, try to zero in. The one thing that I've learned about this, as long as you know a little bit more than the other person, you could just bury them because everybody's going to think what you're saying is the truth. And this
Gotcha.
is where I just love to slice people up to smithereens on this. I mean, okay, ETT, sorry,
But
didn't mean
I
to
have
get on
a
you with this, but I
question
wish that
behind
Hakah
that.
was there, or I wish Gorilla Hebrew was there, because I'd corner them on something. There's no debate on this. There is absolutely no debate on this. I've heard Gorilla Hebrew start saying what is and what is not kosher, and he sounds like a retard. He doesn't. I mean, he's making
Yeah.
comments, off the top of his
Can I
head.
ask you a question?
Yeah,
Okay, so you were religious at one time and you were involved in it,
yeah.
Judaism. Um, so to your guys' take on Judaism, how do you guys approach the well, I wouldn't call it the Gentile Goyim nations? Like, do you guys see that you guys are like above them because you're like God's chosen people, or do you believe that salvation could be through the Jews, and through that salvation the Gentiles can receive that, and that would be like a good thing where they're not like lesser people? Do you guys view stuff like that, or is it just like misinterpretations people pick up and add to it?
The way I was raised and the way that Jews are raised, the righteous of all nations have a place in the next world. And I could hit you with quotes right from the scriptures that will confirm everything that I'm saying. Goyim simply means nations, nothing more.
Right.
Okay. And if you're talking about somebody that's righteous, why on earth? I mean, and if they're a good person, why wouldn't they have a place in the next world? That doesn't make logical sense. It just doesn't make any sense. And if you want to go through scripture, I mean, Isaiah 56, 1 through 8, Isaiah 11, 1 through 9, Genesis 28,
But
14,
wasn't
15.
the whole issue with the Old Testament God is that people weren't believing in him, so that's why it is how it is?
No, the thing is that people have always been people. And let's just say, I think whatever drives people in 2022 probably did the same thing in 1000 BC. I mean, people like to get drunk, people like to get laid, people like to party, people like to make money, people like to do all these things. And I don't think they were any different than anybody else. And there are people that become religious, people that become less religious. Did shit happen where all of a sudden worshiping different gods and whatever? Yeah, I'm sure of it. The same thing's happening today. Why would it be any different? How many people do you know that converted from Christianity to Buddhism, or from Hindu to Christianity, or whatever?
One thing I've seen a lot is that I've seen a lot of Jews actually, well, because Buddhism isn't a religion, it's more of like a way of living.
Correct.
Uh, so I've seen a lot of Jews become Buddhist at one time, like that. Like whenever I have talked to like a former Jewish person, well, they're still Jewish, like DNA wise, but like
Culturally, yeah.
religiously, they have been chosen a different path, and Buddhism is one of the ones that a lot go to.
No, I lived next door to the Nichiren Daishonin Buddhists when I was in Manhattan. And there were quite a few that did, they tried it, then they left it. But yeah, what you're saying is 100% correct. What you're
I'm
saying is
incorrect?
100% correct. No, you're correct. There were a
Oh,
lot that converted into that, so no question. And I mean, truthfully, I think it's easy to become a Buddhist than become a Hare Krishna or whatever, But although Hare Krishnas are pretty cool, and their ceremonies are pretty entertaining.
what kind of Christian?
No, Hare Krishnas.
Oh,
The Indian
okay, I
guys, the
get
one Krishna, Hare,
you.
Hare
Yeah,
Rama.
Krishna.
Yeah,
Whose background is that?
I think it's Indian. They were real popular in the early '70s. And I mean, yeah,
So,
peaceful.
well,
Basically
that could be his
vegetarian. Like,
parents' religion.
what's that?
I said Timog, that could
Yo,
have been his
yeah,
parents'
yeah. I was just about
Yeah,
to bring it up. What wasn't he a Hindu or something like
I
that?
think he was a Hindu. Yeah, the Krishnas are something a little bit different than the
You
Hindus.
know what's funny is Jesus is actually in that religion too. He's one of their gods.
Correct. Correct. And it would sort of make sense because of what I know about
Wait,
the New
I got
Testament.
a
There's a gap,
question.
right?
David, I got a question.
Yeah.
I thought the Jews, right, or people over in Israel, don't they believe in Christ? So why don't you believe in Christ?
They believe in Christ, but he's kind of like a rabbi that kind of like tried to establish his own religion.
Right, but they believe in his writings still. They believe in the New Testament. So David, why do you not subscribe?
Are you talking about
He's not. He
messianics?
doesn't. He doesn't. No, he's referring to actual like Jewish people who don't follow Christ as the Messiah, but
Yeah.
they believe in him existing at one time and period. Like he was actually a man,
Oh, I think
and
he
so
existed.
yeah.
But why
I
So
don't you
think he
believe
existed.
in the New
the
Testament?
common belief that the Jews give though is that he's kind of like a rabbi that went like rogue, kind of, or something like
Yeah.
that. That's one that I've always heard.
Yeah, I mean, this is the thing that always got me with Jesus, and this is something that I think Christians overlook. Back in those days, if you could claim to be the Messiah and get a following of 10, 15, or 20 people, you could probably have a relatively sweet life. So there were a lot of people that made that claim, but yet he was the only one that came out of it. And that's the one thing I find very, very interesting. If you want to know why I don't believe in him, I could back it by scripture, but I don't know
Believe
if
in
you
him
really want me to
as
go there.
Messiah or like a deity, or as like a man ever existing,
A man,
or both.
a
Oh,
man.
so you don't believe in him ever existing at all?
I don't believe that he existed in any kind of special way. I think he was a man that was born this way any other man was born.
Oh, yeah, that's my question. Is that
Yeah.
you believe that he was just a dude, like he was born, lived his life, and did what he did, or you're
He was
saying
a
that you don't
Torah
believe in him
scholar.
at all?
No, he was a Torah scholar. Obviously, he knew how to deal with scripture probably better than almost anybody back in those days, at least if the stories are to be believed. And
What
I would
about
think,
up here on this panel right now?
what about?
Do you think he can be a Torah scholar better than ETT?
Yeah, I would have to say just slightly. Yeah,
Interesting.
Wow.
just slightly.
So he was Jewish.
Yep. Was he Jewish or was he an idol worshiper? Pick one.
Well, he.
What makes you think he was an idol
I don't
worshiper?
see as him being idol worshiper,
I'm
but I could
simply
see his
saying,
followers as that.
right, but back in those days, either you were Jewish or you were an idol worshiper. It's one of the two. I mean, I don't think Confucianism or Hinduism was around, so that's what
Yeah,
was
but
going
those
on
weren't
there.
religions though. Those more like traditions that adopted by cultures and like people live that way. There's no God in Confucianism and Buddhism.
Agreed, but that also wasn't around that part of the world. Around that part of the world, there was either the pagans or the Jews. That was it. So he would have to be one of the two. I think that it's pretty clear that he was a Jew.
Well,
Why would he
yeah,
be in the
I know he
temple?
was a
Yeah,
Jew. I never said I believe he was a Jew. I don't see anything otherwise. People try to say he was a Buddhist. Yeah, you ever heard that claim?
I've heard it.
Um, he went to India, studied with Buddhist
The
monks.
tomb
They
of
kicked him
Yeah,
out.
Kishmar,
but they'd be
Kashmir.
refuted by what is that? Hebrews 7:14, for it's evident that our Lord sprung out of the tribe of Judah. Right.
But
So
but but
scripturally
here's the
he was
thing.
a Jew.
Okay, but correct me if I'm wrong. Isn't there a sort of a gap between when Jesus was a young boy and then when he was a
Yeah, and
an
there's
adult?
books that do talk about that though.
Yeah.
It's just people don't include that as scripture. If you study the Nag Hammadi, which was based out of the Church of Alexandria in Egypt, which was based around adopting Kabbalah mythology and changing some of the characters around to fit a new kind of
Yeah,
doctrine.
if you
And
go
hold on,
to
ETT.
yep.
And they also took like Egyptian mysticism and then they applied it into a sort of Christian denomination. They called it Gnosticism, or basically just the
Yep.
Church of Alexandria in Egypt. And so with this new kind of, it's not a new religion, it's just kind of like a new faith, new walk of light for Christianity. And so they were more mystic than the Church of Antioch, which was like the total opposite of it. And so they had their own books that they included into it, which was the Nag Hammadi. which is basically the Gnostic Gospels, and in those books, they kind of talk about Christ as a child, and like he was like doing all this like mysterious stuff. Like
The infancy
it
gospel of
goes
Christ.
deep. But yeah, you know what I'm referring to. Who is that?
Yeah. Talking about the pseudo-apocrypha, the infancy gospel of Christ.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
he was born in a cave.
Yeah.
Now, there's a lot of unread books out there, but I mean the fact.
But no, you alluded to there not being anything about his childhood, but there kind of is out there if you want to include that.
No, what I'm saying is but there was a gap that has, at least according to the New Testament, that they don't explain it. And
Yeah, but that doesn't mean it's wrong, though.
I'm simply saying I can't say whether or not he had traveled out east. I mean, I know that I know that India and China make their a certain claim about this, and it would sort of fit up. It would fit in the timeline. I'm not saying it's right. I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm saying it's very interesting.
Mm. Right. So, yeah, but like the whole claim, though. Well, you just said it's not a claim, but like the whole argument that there not being books regarding Christ's childhood, there's like stuff written about that.
Oh, there's a ton of stuff written about that. Agreed. But what was canonized? That's all that I'm looking at. I mean,
Yeah.
look, you
Well,
also.
I follow those books, so that would be canon to me.
Yeah, I mean, I've read that. I mean, like I've read the Gospel of Mary. Gospel of what was the other one? There was Philip. Yeah, I mean, so there
That's a
was
good
a
one. I like
lot that
that
are
one.
out there. Did you ever read the story of Paul and Thecla? That's a
Yeah.
I
trippy
think
book.
so.
Yeah, that thing is trippy.
I have my little Gnostic books right here. Let me actually get those
Paul
real
and
quick.
Thecla is really, and I understand why that story was banned. Makes all the sense in the world. That's like a biblical feminist story. It's pretty incredible.
Well, there's a lot of Kabbalah figures too within Gnosticism, like Lilith, and then the whole idea of what is her name? What is her name? What is her name? The woman, God's wife.
Oh, I know you talk Shekinah or
No,
Shekinah.
that's
Sophia.
Kabbalah. Sophia, yeah, Sophia in Gnosticism kind of correlates to what Shekinah is in Kabbalah. Like those figures kind of like have a lot of similar attributes. But I have my little Gnostic book right here. It's called the Gnostic Gospels. Let me read to you what these contain in it. So it's including the Gospel of Thomas and the Gospel of Mary Magdalene. Let me see.
Yeah.
Let me see what contents it has. It has, this selection includes the Fable of Pearl, the Gospel of Thomas, the Gospel of Mary Magdalene, the Gospel of Philip, the Gospel of Truth. The Sacred Wisdom series offers the very best. Oh wait, no, that's just about it. The Coptic scholar and curator of the Middle Eastern collections at the British Library. So, there should be more in here. Or it's just a okay. Here we go. Table of contents. So it's the Fable of Pearl, the Gospel of Thomas, the Gospel of Mary Magdalene, Melchizedek, the Gospel of Philip, the Apocalypse of the Great Power, the Sophia of Jesus Christ, human suffering, the Gospel of Truth. The greatest human evil is forgetfulness of God. The secret book according to St. John 1, 2, and 3. What is that? Thunder, but I think that's just relating to that. And I think that's all of them.
Gotcha. Yeah.
There's
They're
more
interesting.
than that though.
Oh, there's tons of books out there.
You know what I like about Wikipedia? If you go on there, it will give you the list, what was contained, the whole manuscripts and texts that were found within the Nag Hammadi when it's found, and the same for the Dead Sea Scrolls too.
Yeah.
The whole basis and concepts of the Apocrypha were found alongside the Book of Enoch within the Dead Sea Scrolls, so that's kind of why I follow that as well.
No, it's interesting. I forget which story it was, but there was one story I read of Jesus as a young boy where he brought his playmate back to life or something. I forget
Yeah,
it.
yeah. There's a documentary
Yeah.
on that. I re-uploaded that a while back. But yeah, that would be within the Nag Hammadi, the Gnostic Gospels.
Okay.
That's where that story comes from.
Yeah. No, a lot of you said stuff is fascinating. At least I've always found that.
Right. But
Yeah.
you still hear ETT, or did you drop out?
Yeah, I'm here.
Would you follow any of that, or what books or like doctrines do you follow? I know them, but like, has your opinion changed
Um,
at all? Have you found
I've
anything new?
as of now, I only stick with the 80 books. I have not read these other books yet, but I do know about them though. I have heard about them before. Yes.
You should look into them, man. Like, broader your horizon.
Yeah, in the future, I do that, but at the moment, I'm going back and reading the Bible again. So that's what I'm doing right now.
Yeah, but technically, this could be the Bible, and you're kind of like missing out on, books.
Yeah,
Have you ever looked at
we'll
it like
see
that?
about that. We'll see.
Actually, to what two Leader J's saying is actually correct because they had to streamline the books, and that's what got
Oh,
canon.
for sure. The
Yeah.
whole biblical destruction group that you're always talking about. Look at it like that.
Yeah. Yeah. Because with some of these stories, it actually does make sense. Um, it, a lot of it does legitimately make sense. Like I don't know. Did you ever read? What was it? Is it the Book of Peter or whatever? Because there was a battle between getting either that or Revelations as the last chapter in the New Testament. Because
Yeah, I've
apparently
heard of that.
that's a twisted
I
ass
don't
book.
recall that one.
No, that's a. If you think Revelations is trippy, that one is that one is beyond Revelations.
Right. Oh, yeah. I- would that be a Gnostic gospel? I know there's a book of Peter, but I don't remember what was inside of it.
It sort of had a similar theme to Revelations, but was let's just say this: torture in the afterlife. I think I remember as being center um, to the story. But there was some things about it that were it was I think it was troubling when they decided which books to canonize, and that's what kicked it out.
The Gospel of Peter,
Yeah, yeah,
an
there was
ancient text concerning Jesus Christ, only partially known today.
yeah, yeah, interesting stuff.
The
So
Gospel of Peter is part of a book discovered by archaeologists in the grave of a Christian monk in Egypt in 1886.
so
Go,
David,
go ahead.
you said that that in the kingdom of heaven, Israel's not going to have other nations subject to them.
If you're a spirit, what would be the point of that be?
But I thought it speaks about us receiving new bodies, though.
You're talking new physical bodies in heaven?
Well, I'd say that heaven's going to be here on the earth. That the kingdom of heaven will be built here on the earth in the future.
Oh, okay. It is in the non-commodity. It's the
Okay.
Gnostic Apocalypse of Peter.
Yeah, that's a book you might want to pick up. That's pretty interesting. I mean, and as for ETT, as far as what you're saying, no, I don't buy it. That's not the way that I look. My interpretation of the whole afterlife is different than yours.
You know what's interesting
Yeah,
is in my actual book right here. There's something titled "The Apocalypse of the Great Power." I wonder if that's it.
yeah.
Yo, I gotta drop. But thanks for having me, Jay. If Mind of Golf reaches out to you, let me know then. All right.
Yeah, yeah, man. All right.
All right. Cool.
You
Thanks for
you gotta
having me
go.
on, man.
You can't stay
Uh,
longer.
Yeah, I gotta hop off now, man. I was only, as I told you, I got up at 9 something, so I gotta go get something to eat.
Oh, damn.
Okay.
All right, man. Talk to you
Yeah,
later.
well, thanks for having
Hey.
me, man.
Have a
Sure
good
thing.
night, ETT.
Yeah, you too, man.
Looks
Who's
like
this
Ed
other
down.
IDL up here?
Yo, what's up, guys? I eat kosher.
Glad to hear it.
Is that J-Man?
I eat kosher pork.
Yo, what's up, J-Man?
What up? What up?
Is that J-Man or is that Rudy?
I'm a Jew, but I'm secular, so it's kind of ironic.
I don't know who that is. The voice
know.
sounds similar.
I'm a fake
no,
Jew, guys. Come on.
Nice. Yeah,
Ashkenazi.
I think those are two different things.
Yeah. I don't know. Could be a BHI. I can't really tell. I've sort of made enemies with BHI.
Rudy sounds different. I don't know if that is Rudy. Let me see who these are, cause it say who they are.
I'm a Jew
Robel. Is this Rebel Nazarene?
I told you, man. I'm a Jew from the Caucasus Khazarian Mountains.
Yeah, but the voices though, man, like all of y'all sound the same sometimes. Like J-Man sounds like fucking somebody else, and then you sound like J-Man, and then like I've heard like 5 people that all sound the same. Really weird, man. Up here masquerading as other people.
So, Damien, you have any questions?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I want to know.
he's a former Black Hebrew Israelite.
Okay.
Well, I kind of am in the, I want to say, periphery, if that's such a word to use, of the consciousness of Hebrew Israelism. But I wanted to ask you a question pertaining to research you may have done on, is there any legitimacy to the claim that Jesus Christ had a wife or a
Yeah,
son?
there's a scripture. Well, I don't know about a son. That's kind of more of a Muslim concept, is that he had a family.
No,
But
isn't that the what do you call it again? The Da Vinci Code? That conspiracy theory?
yeah,
Yeah,
it does
that's
say that.
a part of
It does
some
say, but
information I heard it from.
there are books though that would say that Christ did have a wife. And see, there's a lot of Christians that would refute that. I'm actually of the mind that actually the small majority that does believe that he did have a wife, a companion. And see, the whole concept that the Christians say is that Jesus Christ came to fulfill the law, but within that law there was nothing wrong with having a wife. That was within the law. So if he did,
True, right? That's a good point.
technically there would be nothing against that at all. Would you agree with that, David?
Actually, I would.
All right, we're gaining some ground now. We're gaining some ground. Okay.
Yeah, I would have to agree as well.
All right.
Yeah.
Wow.
Because I'm
Yeah, 'cause I know
okay,
there's
now
some
my
church
second
in
part to my
France.
question about the son of Jesus or Yahweh or Yahshua or whatever name you want to use. Was there any record or logging somewhere in history of there being a possible biological son of Jesus?
You know what, man? I've never really looked into that. So, the
Okay, I want to ask you a
wife-wise, I
question,
can
and it's
give
about
you
a
books
scripture.
to that.
I'm just gonna bring the scripture up right quick, and then I just want to put it on the floor and see where it goes. But it's Acts chapter 13, verse 6. Acts chapter 13, verse 6 says this. Where is it at? Okay, I'm looking. Please be patient. Here we go. Acts chapter 13, verse 6. Where am I at? That's 2, that's 4,
Hey,
there's
yo, Drew,
5.
man, you
Okay,
can't
6.
come up here with that name, man.
And when they had gone through the isle unto Paphos, they found a certain sorcerer, a false prophet, a Jew, whose name was Bar Jesus. And Bar in Hebrew means son of or grandson of. So I was wondering,
Wait,
It's
what
in,
No,
man?
that bar is Aramaic. B'nai would be in Hebrew.
Bene, right? In the
Yeah.
classical, I
Is
guess Paleo Hebrew.
Aramaic, is that ancient Paleo Hebrew, or is that
No.
separate? Because I've looked into Phoenician too, and the characters are very similar.
Yeah, I mean the Aramaic uses Hebrew lettering, or it uses the same alphabet, but it is a different language. It's related. If you speak Hebrew, you can pick up the Aramaic. I guess it's more or less like if you're in the South, you could probably pick up what a Northerners is saying.
Oh, so it's like that.
Yeah,
Oh, okay. So what about the ancient Paleo? Is that separate, or
it's the same thing. Both languages have 22 letters. There's no difference between it. It would almost be the same thing as saying the English alphabet, that a script letter and a block letter are the same, are two different languages. It makes zero sense. The one thing with Paleo Hebrew is that Paleo Hebrew could have, every letter could have multiple meanings in a lot of different ways. It's also a lot more complicated writing style compared to modern Hebrew, but it's the same thing.
yo, what's up, Drew?
Hi,
Who's this?
it's Ashley.
Oh, what's up, guys? How's it going?
What's up?
What's cracking? So go on, David. What were you saying?
Paleo and modern are the same language. They're gonna it just looks different, but they both have 22 letters. Both of them have vowels implied. It's the same thing.
So what
And
about modern Hebrew though? Where's the basis behind that?
well, it's easier to write modern Hebrew than it is to write Paleo, and that's basically it.
So how does the modern Hebrew? Because they were both written down at different time periods.
Correct.
Um, the Jews today speak more of a modern Hebrew than
No,
ancient
it's the
Paleo
same.
Hebrew. Is it?
Seriously, it's the same. Yeah, I mean, it's they both have 22 characters, 22 letters, 22 consonants, and for the most part, the vowels will be implied. About 1,000 years, like if you go to the Messianic text, they devised the vowel system. But before that, the vowels were implied. And if you look at Paleo, if you look at modern, it's the same thing. Like I know the oldest scripture that was found in Israel, and I think there's like 600 or 700 BC. Numbers 624 through 26 was on a stone, and it was written in Paleo, but you could read it the same way as you could read modern Hebrew. It's not.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. That makes sense now because I've talked to people and like they argue that the modern Hebrew is very different today and kind of like demonized than
Ridiculous.
the ancient one. So they said like, oh, you should learn ancient Paleo Hebrew or like Aramaic instead of the modern Hebrew. But if it's so, you're saying it's the same thing.
They both have 22 letters. So if they both have 22 letters, what difference could it possibly be? The pronunciations are, at least the best way that we know it, they're going to be the same thing. For those that are going to claim it is Yiddish and not Hebrew, I guess the
Well, what
easiest
isn't Yiddish something else? Isn't that like a European
Yiddish,
thing?
yeah, it's a Hebrew, German, Hungarian, Russian blend. It's more or less a slang,
Oh,
but
okay,
it's a
okay.
completely separate
That
language.
that's where the V comes in, don't it? Instead of the Vav.
Well, no, I mean, I know
Because
very little.
doesn't ancient Paleo Hebrew it's a W, but in the Yiddish it's a V, the Vav.
Well, the Vav is, I know it as a V sound in the Hebrew, and where they came up with the W, I really can't. Let's just say you don't really know um, exactly how things worked out the way they worked out, but I have a difficult time believing that um, biblical people were not able to make a W or a J sound. Obviously, they could, and exactly how they went through it, I can't answer. But if they could make that sound, why wouldn't they make that sound?
Right. So, oh shoot, Damien keeps dropping, but there he is.
Mm.
Regarding that though, man, so what was I saying? Oh yeah, the W. I know where that comes in. Well, mostly of this modern age. If you want to focus back to the Hebrew Israelites, they formed their own language called the Lashawan Kodash,
Yep.
which is a take. It's not the Paleo Hebrew itself, but it's a take on it. And so they added letters in like Wam, so you have Shalawam. But then there's Hebrew Israelite groups that don't subscribe to the Shalawam. They'll say Shalom. Um,
Yeah.
and so so there's like confusion with that as well. But it's their take on the Paleo Hebrew.
It's
So
ridiculous. Yeah, I mean, I know the language that they're claiming, and essentially what they're saying is there's only one vowel, and that's the
yeah.
ah sound.
And
And
so the language that they're getting the W from though is another form of Hebrew, but I don't know where that originates from though. But I know like it has a W sound instead of a V. So like you know how people say Yahweh. In reality, like some will say Yahweh, so that W replaces the V. But I don't know where that comes from though.
Germany.
No, the Yahweh, the V,
Right.
the
Yeah.
Vav, that's Yiddish. I'm referring to the W.
Right. The original W, the wah sound.
Yeah, I don't know where that comes from.
Well, I mean, I assert that the wah came out of ancient Egypt. That's why a lot of times you'll see the W even in taking the symbolism or the architecture of a Masonic symbol, how you had a compasses and square. That's the ancient symbol of a wah in ancient Egypt. And that sound is that's the same as you say wah wah wah. You have www, World Wide Web, like all of that's a part of the conspiracy lingo that's taught by Hebrew Israelism. But there is basis in the W sound coming from the language of the ancient Egyptians. Now I'm just saying that's from captivity that they would have a reason to say the Lashawan Kodesh has the wah sound in there. But hey, I'm just one person.
Right. But yeah, David, what would be your take on that? Cause like I'm half Jewish, but like none of my family are like how your upbringing would be. Like there's no they're just like plain white people. There's no well they're like they're your typical like white person American. There's no like nothing diverse about it, if you know what I mean. Like you probably met people like that. Um so how would you take that? Like growing up, like I'm learning all this stuff on my own. Is he still there?
Are you talking to me?
No, I'm talking to David.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
I think he's muted. Um yeah, he's muted.
I
But
believe so.
what's up? Let's see. Somebody comment in a back chat. 2-liter gay. Let me in. Yo, what's up, guys?
What's up,
What's
man?
crack?
Nothing much.
You guys hop up here to say anything or like you're like
Not
viewers,
really.
right?
We just wanted to join in and see what was going on. So, yeah.
Oh yeah, no man, it's like same usual shit up here, you know, like religious discussion.
Yeah.
So how y'all been?
We've been good. What about you, actually?
I've been terrible.
Well,
That's a shame.
I want to say that's good to hear, but I don't know, man. How long has it been? Like 3 months?
I don't know.
Like you guys join like the YouTube stuff and then you leave for like 3 months or 2 months or like a month and then you're back, and then you leave again.
Yeah,
So, what's up?
Go
You
where?
guys here to
I just
stay?
keep deleting like all my accounts and then remaking them. So, and then
Okay.
you banned me for a bit too, so I couldn't.
No,
join
I
back.
didn't ban you, man. I don't know who did that. Because
Oh,
if you go into the ban section, like if you have that moderation for that, there's only 2 people that were banned in there. There's this dude named Parm. I don't know who the hell he is, but he popped in and he kind of gave off federale vibes, so I banned him.
mhm.
And there was you, but I don't know who did that.
Yeah.
And I couldn't
Prob-
find the server.
Probably Rudy.
Probably Rudy.
Yeah. But yeah, no, that's Rudy, man. I've been getting a lot of attention lately. I've been having like a lot of negative views about me. Like people are saying my picture and shit. I don't know what's going on with that.
Oh,
Who are you pissing off?
yeah. Lop sent me that.
LOP's friends and shit, I think, and TMOG's friend, and like somebody else. Oh, and Signs and Wonders and J-Man. I've been pissing off like 3 different groups or individuals. J-Man should know that I'm just playing with him though. Like I'm not serious with that.
Yeah, I'm surprised, but okay.
Oh, you thought I was serious with that? Nah.
No,
I'm just
I thought
messing
you were
with him.
trolling. I
Yeah,
thought
I
it was, wow.
It's lighthearted stuff, man. It's nothing too
I
serious.
know.
I don't go that deep like that. Some people do, but that's not my my cup of
So I'm
tea.
just curious. What have you heard with T-Mod? Something happened to him?
So what ETT has said is that he's talked to him on the last live stream, which was like 6 days ago. He had Good Servant on, and he joined for that, and he said he banned ETT on email, so he blocked him, so he can't message him. And his last YouTube activity for both of his accounts, his second page, last upload and comments were 11 days ago, and his recent on his main page were 4 days ago, and the comments are roughly that 4 days ago or 5 days ago. And supposedly he told ETT he's somewhere in a undisclosed location about 5 days ago, and so he's either homeless or he actually did what he said a couple weeks ago. He said that he's gonna do you know what. So that's kind of the reason for the title, and I hope that's not, because he's a nice guy. You don't want regarding that. But yeah,
Are you serious? So he actually is thinking of that?
yeah, he has.
Wow.
He sounded pretty depressed. Whenever I would watch his videos, he didn't really sound like too happy. So
Where the
Wow.
hell is my grass, man? What the? Yeah, he's he's out of it right now. Well, I get why he would be thinking like that, because like if I had that same mindset, I can get why he would be contemplating that. He just says the world's too stupid for him. So this is what TMOG thinks of everybody who isn't scriptural. Let me see, where's it at? Where's it at?
But the thing is, unless you agree with him,
People are mentally retarded.
where'd it go?
That's what he says.
wait, what? What just happened?
He says people are mentally retarded.
And who would he be one to judge based on the shit that he's come up with?
Well, he thinks the doctrine to be legitimate. So
He's a whack job. I mean, I've heard some of the shit that he says, and one of the problems I have with him is you could show him where he's wrong. He's still not going to be interested. He's going to believe whatever the hell he's going to want to believe.
right.
I mean, hell, I put him in the same camp as I put Perry.
A gangster.
The issue that I have with him, he comes across as an expert on everything, whether or not it is engineering or cryptocurrency or whatever.
Well, he's a smart guy. He used to be in accounting. He has like 5 degrees.
That's what he claims, but I got my doubts.
Well, no, he's yo. What's that? Whose mic is that?
What is his song?
Somebody playing shit in the background.
Yeah, I mean, this is what he claims, but what I don't understand is how do all of a sudden you become an expert in crypto and then an expert on. I mean, like
Well,
I
he
mean, I
knows
was
about
ready.
money, so he's probably just assuming regarding that. But no, he's had degrees. He has a short video on his main page of him throwing away all his degrees in the trash. We showed that like 2 streams ago.
As I said, I've got my doubts.
Oh,
I
and that's
yeah.
another thing he said. He says if he doesn't get raptured and God doesn't have him as his elect and he doesn't do anything, he's probably just going to end up like getting a small job and chasing women. That's another thing he has claimed.
I seriously doubt he's going to do well with women based on his. Yeah,
He was married at one time.
He was really married.
Yeah, he says he was married for like 5 years or something.
He comes off like a 40-year-old virgin, but okay.
Yeah, I think he's 40. When I first met him, I thought he's like 25, because like ETT is 19,
Yeah.
Ridge is like almost 18, and I met him about 8 months ago. So he was on a panel with all of them, and I'm in my early 20s. Like I'm like a year and a half older than ETT, and he's
Mm-hmm.
almost 20. Um, so like we're all young. So I thought he was young too. And
Yeah.
like his picture though with his suit, he kind of looks young there too.
Well, that was from many, many years ago. I could see that. It's just the thing. He comes across that he's an engineer in his account. I mean, I've actually tried to speak with him about certain bean counting issues. He knew nothing. When he was trying to explain to me how crypto worked, I could tell right off the bat he knew nothing about that either. And as I said, he goes by the premise. I mean, if he knows a little bit more than you do, he's going to try to steamroll you. And I've
Oh, he
seen.
probably knows more than I do regarding that. Like I
Well,
really don't care to know that though. Like I think crypto is like it's an investment, and it would be like investing into stock. Profit is not always guaranteed with that. You probably lose more than you invest. Is my problem. Like because I have a subscriber on here. She has a whole Discord and a YouTube page that's truth-wise, so it'd be like mine, but her second other type of uploads would be crypto based. And so like she was trying to get me to invest into that. I'm like, I'll think about it, or I'm good, but like I thought about it and I looked into it, and it just seems like stocks. Like when you invest in a stock, like profit's not always guaranteed. And you might be
yeah,
sitting on that stuff for a very long time before it gains any kind of inflation of profit guaranteed. So like why would I invest money that I'm already working hard for into something that I don't know might take off? You know what I'm saying? Like that's my
well,
problem.
I could tell you this: if you were going to invest, and I mean, I don't have a dime in crypto, but if you're going to invest in it, you probably want to invest in a basket because I guarantee you, you're going to have most are going to be losers, and if you have one that takes off, it should be one that to offset it. And what you're saying is actually is very accurate. I mean, you should if you're going to invest, only invest in stuff that you know. As far as the whole thing with the stocks give you ownership of a particular corporation, and there's something tangible there that you can grab hold of as far as figuring out what value is.
Yeah,
What I
there's that
yeah,
too though, but what if that business goes under? Then you're still losing profit.
agreed, but at least you'd be able to take a look at their financials and and determine whether or not this is a good or a bad investment. What I
Oh
can't
yeah,
figure
true,
out with
true.
what I can't figure out with crypto is that it's a computer guy that is just going to play around and and he creates something out of nothing, and this is the part I just don't understand how you could do this.
Yeah. And here's another thing though too is I'm not gonna say no names, but I have a friend, good friend that I grew up with. Um, and his parents had like a divorce type of situation, so he moved back to his home. Well, not his home country, because he was born in the United States, so his parents'
Hmm.
home country, uh, Uzbekistan. And so what he does, well, actually, no, I shouldn't say that. Um, I shouldn't phrase it that way. Have you ever looked on those reports of how people are getting crypto scammed?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, it would be along those kind of lines, is where uh, that is taking place, and so like you never really know what you're getting into, and so it'd be like on it's a crypto site that has all these different like Dogecoin, and there's Bitcoin, and then
Yeah.
there's like smaller ones, so it would look like how you like when you go online to buy stock. That's how it kind of looks. Um, and so these different small companies, people would be investing into those, and legitimately, like you're losing money because these small companies are not going nowhere. So it'd be like getting scammed, but not highly in that kind of instances. Is that you get what I'm saying, right?
No, I get what you're saying, and let's just say when I was playing, probably more with the stocks and investing, there is this investment group. I think they were out of Iowa. They were called the Beardstown Ladies, and there were women that were in their 80s, and they were playing the markets. They were doing well, and so I think it was CNBC went to interview one of them, and this was like early 90s. And so I remember the guy asked this 85-year-old woman, "What do you think of computer chips?" And her response, "I don't know them, but I'd invest in potato chips." And I truly believe if you don't know how this stuff operates, just stay the hell away.
Yeah. That's a good point. I don't know how crypto works. I know the fundamentals of it, but like actually generating crypto, I've heard that it like if you want to do that, it takes a lot of electricity to do that and stuff, and
Right.
you probably don't get much doing that. Um, so like I seen crime reports of where people are stealing people's electricity to generate crypto. And so they'll have like this whole warehouse, and they'll probably be like stealing somebody's like power, like electricity somewhere to run all these machines to generate crypto. And so I know the fundamentals of it and how it's made, but like the process of it, like I don't know about.
Yeah, I don't get it, and I don't know how you can invest in this and make. I just I don't understand it. But
Here's another thing though is people say so they either save, so they have a wallet somewhere on a site, and so that would they would be legitimate sites like Bitcoin site. There's a wallet on there, and so you can save your earnings in that wallet, but you have to have a password. It's like logging into YouTube or a Google account.
right,
It's like Google security. Like just the other day, my phone messed up, so I had to switch phones and remember all my passwords again, and to log back into them. But doing that, I ended up logging myself out of a Gmail that I can't get back into. And so it's not a big thing, is because there's only 2 videos on the channel. I don't have my card tied to that. There's only 100 subs on the YouTube page, and like the only thing I ever signed up for was for Discord on it. So I just took that as a loss,
good,
to be gained somewhere else. And so
good.
that's how crypto would be, is that you can legitimately, you might forget your password, so you can't even log in to get your earnings.
Yeah, I heard of one guy that was the problem that he had. He forgot what his password is, and if I think that he only has 1 or 2 tries left, but he has millions in crypto and he can't access it. Yeah, that would suck.
Like Yeah, that does suck. But yeah, that would be like having, like I said, a Google account and you having like security around it, but then like you mess up on getting your security for you to log in, so you can't get into it. Like that's my problem. Or like
Hmm.
the phone number for your phone is no longer connected, so like the verification you set up months ago doesn't work. That's also my problem. I got like 4 phones. My current number isn't tied to any of my older ones.
Yeah.
Um, so I lost that account. I can't get it. So that'd be like crypto. And another thing is you can save crypto, your wallet, to a IMB drive or a USB drive. And
Right.
if what happens if you lose that or it breaks, you know what I'm saying? Like
No,
that's
I
kind of
hear you.
scary, man.
I hear you, and it's just I've just followed the Bitcoin over the last 10, 12 years, and I can't understand. And this is one thing I won't go near it. Is that I don't understand why it was worth $12, a coin, and I didn't understand it was worth 60,000 a coin, and I still don't. And I see this thing's going all over the place. I don't know how you determine value from it. I mean, obviously people do. But I would say this: when Bitcoin first came out, take a look at the 15 largest coins back then, and then take a look what it is today, and it's just like Bitcoin was the only one that survived.
Yeah.
So
Like
you do well.
when people think of cryptocurrency, they only think of Bitcoin. Because that's what I know about. Like people don't realize what cryptocurrency is. They think Bitcoin is cryptocurrency, but that's just a company. Cryptocurrency would be
Yeah,
what the name of the online stuff is. I think
no,
people
they're
don't
the
understand.
Cadillac. Yeah.
Yeah. You still there, Damien? You want to add into that or somebody else?
Yeah, I'm still here, but I'm not an expert on it, so I don't want to make a comment.
Well, neither are we. It's just
Yeah.
it's stuff that we pick up, listening to and
Well, I've heard a
muscle.
lot of, just a lot of theories on it and everything. It just sounds like a newer form of currency that's about to take over because the dollar doesn't really have a lot of power now, and I think that they trying to base it after like a technology where it can be online as opposed to physical or on a
Yeah.
card, basically.
Yeah, true, true. I don't think crypto would be the new currency. I
Mhm.
think they would legitimately print a new currency for that.
All
But
right.
I don't see crypto being around that long. Or if it does, it kind of die down. The only reason why it's so big right now is because like apps promote it. Like I remember the first day where I was getting Bitcoin ads every day on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Twitter. Like that was all I got. And so like that's when it took place, and that was like 12 months ago, or maybe a little bit like 15 months ago. I remember that. And like I complained to YouTube about it, but like they're saying, oh, we generate ads that fit your browser history or whatever. Like I never looked into Bitcoin. So like legitimately like they started promoting that. And so the only reason why it's afloat is because of all the promotion or like the scam ads on YouTube or like all the people what do they call those influencers promoting it. That's
Mm-hmm.
that's really why it has any like it's still
Any
relevant.
traction?
But like once that dies down, then like it's gone. I do believe they'll bring in a new currency every now and then. Well, not every now and then, very soon. um it'd probably replace the euro and the dollar.
Yeah, from I mean, I've never gone to crypto, but from a lot of the people that I know, like, are into it, and especially like the flat Earth people, like I'm sure you know Jay, like Jeranism and David Weiss.
Yeah, here's the thing. Are you familiar with Jessara and Nasara?
That was like the QAnon psyop thing, right?
No, that's it ties into it, but that's been around for a very long time. See, what QAnon did is that they took a lot of topics from the truth community and they made them political. And so they've been around for a very long time. So like Jasara and Nasara, that kind of goes back to the whole what is it? The Great Reset. That idea has been around for a very long time. And so Jasara and Nasara, you're familiar with them, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think that would be the new currency. Jessara would be the G I think stands for global, and then the N stands for national. I think the Nasara would be what America adopts, and then the Jessara would be a global uh, new currency.
Right. No, I was just saying, a lot of these crypto heads people, like, not only do they think they can, like, make some kind of profit with money on it, but they think it's somehow like being rebellious and fighting back against, like, fiat currency with the US
Yeah, I've
dollar.
heard that too. I've heard
Because it's
that
going
too.
to be, yeah, because it's going to be like, some sort of future decentralized system that the government can't, like, have any sort of control over. But obviously that's not true at all, because they're the ones that can control not only your electricity, which you need, and the internet. So without that, you have no access to your crypto.
Yeah, here's the thing though: is like they think Bitcoin and crypto was set up by what, like individuals, like
Yeah.
the people that they're trying to get over on are the people who set up their new currency that they're trying to get into.
Right. Yeah, that's
and
crazy.
and, and that would be David's people in Bagelville, if as a call for an uprising says.
I see.
Yeah.
Yeah, if I'm not mistaken, I think it was a Japanese guy that created Bitcoin.
But yo, Jay, do you did T-Bong really say that about, like, he would just start fooling around with women and stuff, like, if
Yeah, he said that in a previous stream. I was like, so man, what happens if your doctrine isn't true? And so what would you do? And the whole suicide thing is a very recent thing, but in a past live stream, he's like, you know what, man, I really don't know. I probably just live life, throw away the Bible. Um, he said, I definitely would take what I have learned from it and apply it to it because it does have good morals, is what he said. Uh, so he said he would live by that, but like he said, what he would do in the meantime, if it's not true, is like he'll probably just live life, chase women. He'd probably have to get a job, and that's pretty much what he said.
You know what's crazy about that? You can call that, like being an apostate, or, like, falling away from the faith. But specifically the way you describe it, it sounds to me like he might even be fulfilling the prophecy the Messiah gave in Luke 12.
The great
Towards,
falling away.
no. If you look in Luke 12, I think the parable was called something about, like the wait, the New King James does it on Bible Gateway. I think it's called, like, something about the servant. Let me see if I can find it real quick. It's verses 45 and 46. Okay, yeah, it's called the parable of the faithful and evil servant. So, like, Luke 12, verse 45, he says, well, starting 43, he says, "Blessed is that servant whom his master will find so doing when he comes. Truly I say to you that he will make him ruler over all that he has." And then this is where I think TMOG fits the prophecy. Like, he would be one of these people here. Verse 45, "But if that servant says in his heart, my master is delaying his coming, and begins to beat the male and female servants, and to eat and drink and be drunk, the master of that servant will come on a day when he's not looking for him, and at an hour when he is not aware, and will cut him into two, and appoint him his portion with the unbelievers." So you see what I mean? It's like,
Oh yeah,
it's
that's a good take on that.
it's
I
kind of
don't know
like
if David follows that.
T-Mog was saying, if Christ doesn't come by this time, then he's being his return is being delayed, and so I'm just going to start doing whatever I want. That's literally what that parable in Luke 12 says.
One thing I learned from TMOG though is to always look for the signs, and what I've noticed recently, this whole 2022 so far, as what it has been, is that 2022 is what I deem. I'm doing a video on it very soon. I deem this year the year of contact. I don't know if you recently looked into how China has recently said that they've have gotten in contact through satellites from other civilizations
Yes,
within
I've
the
heard that.
solar system. Yeah, there's that. Congress recently for the United States has live streamed and addressed that, yeah, they are having UFOs and they are seeing them, and they're not really a joke, and they shouldn't have made them seem like a joke when the pilots were presenting them these footages of these weird objects. And so they addressed it and they finally finalized it. So they're not calling it UFOs anymore. It's like APV or something like that, or UPV. I forgot what they called it. So there's that, and then there was like two other stories. So like UFOs have been trending a lot lately this year. So there's that. I deemed it the year of contact. I don't know, like it's crazy. And
Yeah.
I've learned that from TMOG. He didn't even hear about how Congress addressed the UFOs. Like I shared a live stream of it because I streamed the event a few hours after it ended, and he watched that and then he shared his video on it, and then he started talking about that.
Right.
So the Hebrew concept is that the Jesus is going to be returning in a UFO, so that alien invasion, what truthers call Project Bluebeam, is actually a psyop, and that would be Christ returning in a UFO, and he would be on the mothership, and it would look like an alien invasion, and that the governments are trying to get you to believe it's something else, that it's actually an alien, so you should hate it and not embrace the UFOs.
I mean, but it doesn't. I've told TMOG and ECT this, like because they're down with the UFO doctrine too. But like,
I am too. I follow that.
yeah, but to me personally, like when you look at like what the return of Christ is going to look like, it's going to be like a tumultuous, like a catastrophic event where like the firmament sky will like roll back open like a scroll, and nobody on the earth that's alive at the time is going to miss it. And then he's going to come. It's not going to just be him. He's going to come with all of his angels. Like somewhere in the book of Matthew it says for that great harvest to to take in the wheat and then burn up the tares, which is metaphor for the for the good and the wicked. So Christ, or God the Father and Christ already know in their heart or in their mind, like who wants salvation and who has the faith in them. And so it's not going to be up to you, like, well, especially if you're dead, it's definitely not going to be up to you, like if you're going to have to be resurrected. But say you're alive when it happens, like it's not going to be up to your discernment to know whether or not whatever is coming through the sky are like the chariots of God, because like
Oh shoot, Damien keeps dropping.
because
Yo, Damien, welcome back.
Christ is already going to know in your heart whether or not you want salvation, and so he's going to just like take you up however it is, like in a twinkling of an eye, like Paul says in 1 Corinthians 15. Like you're not going to have to like sit there and be like, are those demonic alien UFOs, or is that the chariots of God? Like
Well,
you're not going to have to think about it. Like, it's just going to happen to you.
The Hebrew concept though is that the UFOs are going to be abducting people, and that would be the rapture, being caught up in the sky with Christ.
Okay, and then what happens to the rest of the people?
They get destroyed. Left behind and then destroyed.
They get left behind and destroyed by who?
The Most High.
Probably probably the angels are going to be carrying out that task, right?
It says so, yeah.
Okay. All right. So,
but I don't know the end days. I know the end days, but I'm not like ETT or TMOG where I can map them out in synchronicity. I just know them individually. I'd have to go back into the scriptures and look at them within the order they're presented in. That's something that I couldn't give you off the top of my head.
Right. I just don't think it's necessary to like know exactly what the logistics and technicalities of how our salvation is going to look like. Like it doesn't. Nowhere in Scripture does it say you have to know how it's going to happen. It just says to keep the commandments and have the faith and walk in the Spirit and deny your flesh. That kind of thing.
Mhm.
Right, right. What would be your take on that, Damien? Like I think
You know,
I
I
get
I,
your
I, I
doctrine,
kind of
but I
see it
don't
the
know you
same
too
way.
well.
I've always, thought that the rapture of Christianity or religion, because the Muslims have their own version of Jesus coming back in the end, but according to Christianity and how the vision of the end is, I've always thought that that was kind of extraterrestrial in nature, the way it's presented with all of these clouds and angels. And I always thought that
Right?
the visions that we see of the paintings of the rapture are a allegorical sense of the mind trying to perceive something that is beyond like an epic way of seeing something as a event, a worldwide event, which is why they're saying all eyes are seeing him when he comes because it'll be in
Yeah.
a
So
fashion,
he would be in a UFO, and they would be all seeing him coming back, and
right, because
what
that
would
would
look
be a
like an alien
global event.
invasion. Yeah.
Jay, when you say UFO, you realize that means unidentified flying object, right?
Yeah, that's just the we
Colloquial
covered this
term.
before. It's just the modern term that they call it. UFO. You could call it chariot. I say UFO because people know it better as that. I'm not.
Or IFO.
It's a modern term. Yeah, that's what they called it. But just because you call it that doesn't mean that's what it is. Like the concept of like space and other planets and like alien civilization, inventing crafts and like traveling around and the solar system on it. That's the concept that they deem for it through science fiction, but that's not how I use it.
Right. I mean, there might be something to it. One guy I follow, his name is Adam Fink. His YouTube channel is called The Parable of the Vineyard, and he did have a video on this kind of topic. Like he was kind of talking about how Hollywood propaganda shows UFOs as being something that's kind
They
of
do. Why do all these movies have similar plots with a religious name to it, like Revelation or something? And it's either
Armageddon.
robots or aliens, fighting in the sky or something like. And the aliens are always bad. What's that one with Will Smith or
Independence
Will
Day.
Smith, Independence Day, and then they got one. What it was Men in Black, like it's propaganda. But what is that propaganda for?
yeah. I mean, yeah. So I mean, I don't know. There
So
might be
it's not a Hebrew Israelite concept. It's just something that they ran with in the '60s. It's been around for a very long time, just like reincarnation.
yeah, reincarnation. Yeah, I'm
I'm
not.
surprised they don't believe in flat Earth. That's something that I would think they would believe in.
Who, the camps?
Yeah,
Some of them do. I've seen
some
like
do, but not that. Those are more individually.
right. Hey, IDL, what would you say if you heard a Jewish rabbi saying that the Israelites are the so-called Negroes and African Americans?
Well, he's asked this all the time. He says he doesn't follow it. He said that they're loony.
No, they are loony because
No.
look, I'll throw the Bible out of this. I'll just go with biology. A black guy can have a white grandchild, multiply it by 50 to 100 generations. It puts the whole melanin doctrine, out the window.
It's null and void.
Damn. Wait, I thought I had. Hold on.
To be honest with you, if anybody is on here, I don't know. Is something that I will say that
Shit.
there could have been Jews at that time who probably were black through interbreeding, because
Agreed.
that's a possibility. Um, and that could have been the whole basis behind this doctrine is that stuff could have been passed down like that, or there were artwork of Jews that were black, and so like when you ever hear the Hebrew Israelites, they're like, oh, go look at the ancient paintings, and they say you look at the Jews in those paintings, they were melanated, they were black. that could be a possibility. Those Jews could have been, interbreded in. Um, they could have been black. That's a possibility.
They could have
But
been, but it's not probable. At least not the way that they're painting it. And
it wouldn't be the majority, is what
it
I'm saying.
well, yeah. I mean, I don't know what it is or what it's not, but if you're gonna go by Bible, um, Abraham, who is the patriarch, he came from modern day Iraq. He did not come from Africa. If you want to go Bible and final, go Numbers 12:1. Okay, why did Aaron and Miriam throw such a shit fit when Moses married a Cushite woman? So there's a lot that you could play around in there. And the thing is, I've seen the camps multiple times over the years. And, they look to make stuff up as they go along. And, and as long as they have a little bit of knowledge more than the audience, they're going to be able to push this stuff.
Well, the reason why they win a lot of debates though is on the streets is because a lot of people don't know the Bible.
Correct.
So these people, I will give them is that they do memorize scripture to the T, to what it says,
They're so good at
and
that.
so
Yes,
it's something
that.
they can do, and so that's kind of why they get the one up on everybody.
But they
Right.
they overtalk people. They yell over each other, and the mic doesn't help either. But yeah, they twist it to their own destruction, I think, in a way. But
Well, they're not twisting it to make it say something else. They're just
Yeah,
changing
they
the
are.
whole concept of it.
Well,
No,
I mean, to be
they are.
fair, there is a perception of perspective. I mean,
True,
and
true.
life and social life experience and our version of seeing things from our social or racial constructural perspective. So there are parts of seeing life where only you're going to see those perspectives of living a part of that construct through society. And if you're not seeing things from that lens, you won't see how they see it that way. So it's very kind of it's one linearly as far as experience to only say that your perception of how you see it can only be the truth, whereas you can't
Well,
experience
I'm not
things
saying that
outside of,
though.
not you, 2 Liter J. I'm not saying you per se. I'm saying those that have that say hey, Hebrew Israelism is bullshit completely, and can't see why these young black kids are getting into it from their perspective that's in society. So that's my issue with that, is because if you say that, you're only seeing it from your social construct.
The issue that I have is when they knowingly twist scripture. And I don't care whether or not it's Deuteronomy 28:68. I don't care whether or not it's what they pull out of the book of Revelation. I mean, I'll call I'll call BS when I see BS. And I've seen them do
Do
this.
you think your problem with it, David, is because you're actually Jewish and they claim to be Jewish and like they dispute
Um,
your heritage? Is would that be a factor in it?
well, what's a factor is, and I'll just go with Deuteronomy 28:68. When you eliminate the last line of that verse, and there will be no buyers. And then what do they do? They'll go to the stronger coordinates or blue letter Bible, and if they like, they will look for the word that they like the most, as opposed to what it actually means.
Yeah, you know what? I've seen that take place where Hebrew will tell you to bring up different versions of the Bible. So you'll go from KJV to NIV, back to KJV, to the new KJV, to the ESV. So
Correct.
I've seen that.
So I mean, when you're doing something like that, you can't tell me that it's because they're looking to be honest. They're looking to paint a picture. And as far as getting the young kids on board, do they know any better? I mean, they're being sold a sugar pill.
Well,
And the
it's
one
not a
thing that
bad thing though. It keeps
So
things
yeah, that's
out of trouble.
my thing. That's my argument with this, is to suggest that someone would have to possibly be wrong in believing the idea that they could be the son of God based after a scriptural symbolism, like you find somewhere off in the scriptures where it says, oh, Solomon is black, or Jesus got hair of lamb's wool, and you identify with that as a black person, then for someone else that is outside of that experience to say that you can't possibly be it based after the fact of, well, it's just hogwash, or for any just reason that is outside of a actual biblical scholarly argument that has actual evidence to prove your point in the opposition. So that's my point. Like, if you're going to say that, you've got to bring some actual meat and potatoes of some scholarship to prove the opposition to what they're saying, because to me it clearly is truth. It is truth to it, even though I don't 100% subscribe to Hebrew Israelism, but I can say the things that they are saying do line up and align and register and all of that type of stuff to me based after my experience in America as a black man. So I'm just being real. I mean, I'm not saying everything that you're saying don't have no value to it, or it doesn't have any basis to have a question as to why things are the way that they are in perspective of Hebrew Israelism and how you see it on the street. But just being one person to another, it's just interesting that you have the perspective that you do, being outside of our experience as the people that are experiencing being the lowest on the totem pole, and then trying to figure out who we are as a people. And then there are other cultures who don't have a culture, who don't have an understanding of who they are. And then for something to come along and say, well, you could possibly be this could possibly be the answer to who you are. And for someone to say, well, that's absolutely hogwash, that can't be true. It just seems like the irony, like the plot of a story. Like, it seems like life is like a movie. Like, if I was thinking, well, these people that are the lowest of the low could possibly be the highest of the high, because that's just how the whole scheme of time and history has played itself out to be. It just seems like the irony of life would just be that Jesus is black, or would just be that Moses was black, or would just be that David is black, because that's just how society has played itself out, to have the lowest, the servant, the person who gets kicked in society, the person who gets downtrodden, the person who had to raise his hands and say, please don't shoot me, or get a neck,
Oh,
or
he
get a
left.
knee on his neck and all of that. I mean, come on, man.
Yo, my Wi-Fi just
I don't know why IDL left.
yeah,
Interesting.
I hopped. Wait, can y'all hear me?
Yeah, you're good, man. We hear you.
My Wi-Fi hopped somehow turned off. I'm not sure why. It might be like a network issue, like in my
Well, no, at certain times of the day, your Wi-Fi will turn off to reset itself. Mine does that like at 3 in the morning.
I don't know. It's never really happened like this. It's sort of
You
so
probably
random.
just haven't noticed.
Yeah, I just wanted to show. Oh wait, I can't. Yeah, because I'm on my phone now using my data. I just wanted to show IDL this one.
He left though.
Yeah, this was
Or maybe his phone died or something. His iPad.
This is the video I want to show. Hold on, let me see. Well, I don't even know if it will play because of my Wi-Fi. Hold on, let me try.
There's a whole nother concept though of the Jews. Have you ever heard of British Israelism? They claim that the Anglo-Saxon, Germanic, Viking, Celtic, Scandinavian type people are the actual Jews.
That's from Berith Miller. That's why they get Berit. Berit is the word in Hebrew that means covenant or law. So they take it to be. That's why they have the blue blooders and the concept of the Jewish star in blue, the color of blue with the two lines on it, or the two bloodlines, the two blue blood lines, and that's why they have that flag looking that way.
No, I've heard that. I think it's retarded though. But have you guys seen this this clip by this guy? Hold on.
So, like, my whole thing with Hebrew Israelism, like, the reason why I don't refute it is that you have, like, people in these areas, regardless of what the doctrine teaches, though, is that you have young people. What would you rather have them in? You know, like a street gang,
Right.
or something religious? You know, it teaches fundamentals. You know, morals. You know,
Yeah. But yo, Jay, let me play this.
it's not a bad thing.
Let me play this clip real quick. Hold on. Y'all see that?
Yeah.
All right, hold on.
Is this Iger Television? Who is this?
No, this is Rebel, bro.
Oh, okay. I was right the first time. All right.
Iger got that super low voice, man. Are you kidding me?
Are you from Canada, man?
Nah, man.
What is your name? Are you Robel Andreas?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's your name.
Yeah.
Okay, so I've Googled that name. Are you like an author?
Nah, bro. Hold on. Let me play this clip real quick. Hold on.
What's fascinating is, which I speak about, is the transatlantic slave trade. A large percentage of it actually came from Igbo territory. So these Igbo today in Nigeria were practicing Jews, numbering 40 million people, with customs, traditions, and circumcision on the 8th day, were the same exact people brought to the Americas on the transatlantic slave trade. Now, if someone goes to Times Square in New York today, you'll see African Americans dressed in Israelite outfits and yelling at people saying, "You're not the real Jews, we're the real Jews." And so most people saying, "Well, you guys are kooky, you just made this whole thing up, you made up a religion and an identity." Actually, no, they are the blood descendants, most likely, of the people who from Israel were brought from Africa to America. So it's very fascinating. But what they need is discernment.
So there you go.
Can you replay that? I didn't understand that.
What was the audio not clear?
No, it was clear. I just I guess I wasn't listening. I guess I
He
don't
was
know.
saying something about the Igbo in Nigeria.
Yeah, he was.
Can you play it again?
Hopefully it'll play. Let me see.
What's fascinating is, which I speak about, is the transatlantic slave trade. A large percentage of it actually came from Igbo territory. So these Igbo today in Nigeria were practicing Jews, numbering 40 million people, with customs, traditions, and circumcision on the 8th day.
Whoops! The hell?
So is what he's saying is that the Ethiopians that are the Negbo, if I'm saying that right, so they were practicing Jews within that region, and those were the Jews that were sold off to the colonizers to the Americas. So theoretically, they were from Israel, but they're not black in that descent. They were just like conversions or interbreeders, and so that's the reason why they're Jews. And so technically, the Jews there today and the Israelites today are both right. Is that what he's saying?
No. Did you wait? Could you not read the caption on the video too?
No, it's kind of small, man.
Oh, really? It says the top says.
Hold on, I'll make you full screen.
No. Well, I mean, here. What you want me to? I don't know why it stopped at 15. It might be because my Wi-Fi is gone. But let me try. Wait. Can you read that now or no?
Jewish Rabbi
Jewish
Harry
rabbi.
Rosenberg.
Jewish rabbi. Oh yeah, I've seen that video. Jewish rabbi. Yeah, he says that Negroes can. I don't mean to say that, but that's what he said. He says that Negroes can definitely, possibly have Jewish DNA.
Well, in this video, he says that most likely they are the descendants of the Israelites. That's what he's saying, you know? Yeah. So,
Well, I
when
mean
people hear it
that
from a
could
white
be
guy,
true. Well, no, but see, the reason why he's white though is because the story goes is that the Jews went into Europe. They migrated. So that's the reason why he's white, is that it's interbreeding. So if that's the case, then the Jews that were in Israel went down to Ethiopia, interbreeded, so the children that were originally Israelites now look black. And so if that would be the case, that I think that's what he's going with.
no, bro, he's saying the people, and he actually said Nigeria, not Ethiopia. Even though I do believe there's a strong Israelite,
Oh yeah, for
connection
sure.
to.
Okay, yeah, I'm saying Ethiopia as something that I've always went with. Like Moses' wife was Ethiopian.
Yeah, and so that's part of the reason why there might be an Israelite, descendancy down there. But no, he was talking about the Igbo tribe of like Nigeria, that their like DNA, goes back to like, you know, people who were sold as part of the transatlantic slave trade.
Yeah, and so I don't think you're getting what I'm saying is that, so yeah, the people of that region that were sold off, they came from Israel, such as that Jewish man that said that came from Israel. That's his point. He's saying through interbreeding, black people in the Americas that claim to be Hebrew Israelites technically are right because they are Jewish, because the Israelites went down into Nigeria and were there for very long, so they interbreeded with the women and everything, and so they look black. They were sold off
I mean,
onto the Americans and brought to the Americas. So what he's saying is that that's what he's saying is that he, just as his people went into Europe and turned white, his people went down into Africa, Nigeria particularly, turned black through interbreeding, and then this sect was sold off into slavery, took into the Americas, and now here today, those former uh, ancestors of those slaves are now claiming to be the original Jews today and are black and are claiming that, you know, that's the story. That's what he's going with.
wait, but you don't think the original ancient Israelites, like that were born, like the 12 sons of Jacob, were originally black though?
Yeah, that. I mean, you could say that. Yeah. To be honest with you, man, I really don't know. Like the running gag is that I'm a black Hebrew Israelite, but to be more particularly with you, I think they I really don't know. I know they were black, but then I also believe, you know, that they could have also went off in other regions through interbreeding, and you know they could look Chinese now, they could look Mexican, you know. So that would be my take on it. I don't think all of them were black.
Okay. I'm of the belief that they're all sort of like a Afro Negro, you know,
Well, then what
like
about like the Mexicans and
genotype and
everything? You ever thought
phenotype.
about that?
What about them? I mean, I don't think they descend
Well,
from
they
Jacob.
claim that Mexicans and Hispanics and all that are Israelites.
Well, too bad they don't fit
Native
the curses of
Americans.
Deuteronomy 28. They don't. The only group of people that fit the Deuteronomy 28 curse are the so-called Negroes of today.
Are
I
you
mean,
black?
you can go verse by verse, and you can. I'm Ethiopian.
Hey, that's the question I wanted to know.
What would be your take on that, Damien?
Yeah,
Do you
I'm
think
Ethiopian.
they could be black through
Well, you know,
interbreeding, or were
think
they black to begin with?
I think the whole planet, you know, from the whole Genesis perspective all the way up to, you know, Exodus and Deuteronomy where the Israelites appear, I think there that it was all a heavily melanated planet at that point,
Oh
and
yeah, totally. No,
you
because
know,
like Noah's
Mhm.
sons all went off. You know, Hamites, Cushites, Ismail. I forgot what his children were called. So like, they all stemmed from that. You know, that pigment. But you
Yeah.
know, the
You
region
know,
wise,
as far as Mexican people, Latino, or Native Americans, I personally do believe that they would be Israelites just from my study. As you know, as far as like the fringes on their clothes, or a lot of the same
the
symbols like this,
language.
the language, right? And also, there's a symbol that Native Americans adorn called a squash blossom. That if you look at the actual geometry of a squash blossom, it looks like a Islamic crescent over the top of a six-pointed star.
You
And
know what's in? Yeah, I've seen that. You know what's interesting is I don't know if you ever watch God Rules. But if you go on my second page, it's called Synlave Mitra. It's Greek and I think Latin combined. I forgot how I did the name, but it has like 160 subs. And I mirrored 5 videos from God Rules where he's talking about the ancient red-haired giants of Israel, and then he talks about like ancient stuff regarding the Native Americans, and he says that their language and cultures are very similar to the tribal Israelite tribes. Like the language wise,
Mhm.
they had like words like Yeho or something like that, and that would be like Yehovah instead of like Yahweh. It would be like with the O.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then another channel that I've researched, he puts his own personal take into it, which I try to chime that out. But he does provide like factual arguments. He believes, for example, like his own opinion, he believes the Americas are actually ancient Babylon and Israel. So the Middle East today of ancient the Middle East of ancient the ancient world of the Middle East is actually the Americas instead of over there. So I don't know how he gets with that idea. I've heard that before, but
You know
I,
that hypothesis I think is kind of formed off of what is it that movie where it kind of defines the North Pole and everything will kind of slide. What is it? The day after
oh,
tomorrow.
Pangea.
Yeah, it's like a form of like the Earth age will be in a new ice
Oh,
age or
okay.
something, and where we believe the North Pole is will be somewhere where America is, or something like it's going to be sliding down closer to the equator, or it's going to kind
Mm,
of displace the geographical locations of the continents and things like that. Kind of like, have you ever
yeah.
heard of the I Am America map? Like,
No, I haven't. But
yeah, look
what I
that
was
up. That's
saying though
that's
is what. Oh,
that
sorry.
looks
Hold
like
on.
America after thermonuclear destruction. Like the
Oh,
way it's a geographical map that shows like America having large portions of it like kind of dug out through a natural catastrophe where a large like where the Mississippi River is or the Suez fault line or there's no more California. All of these things they've been saying like California gonna fall off into the ocean type deal. This map called the I Am America map is like kind of an illustration of a futuristic look of what it's supposed to look like.
oh, okay. Well, yeah. What he says though is that he says the original Native Americans were actually of a very dark melanated color. You can go along and say that they're black. And
Mhm.
through, I guess, the later years, decades, they became like of a Mexican type of brown color, but they were originally black.
Hmm.
He calls them the Aboriginal Americans instead of the Native Americans, but both of those would be the same.
Well, I mean, I kind of think that's kind of. Have you heard of the history of the Olmecs?
No, I haven't.
Okay, the Olmecs. There's these monolithic heads that they found around the southern region of the United States, around the Gulf shores. When they say the sailors came over here, some of the earlier pilgrims, they would see these monolithic heads that had like kind of Negro looking features. Look, and some people will say that they're jaguars, or some people will say that they're monkey heads that looks like some type of a chimpanzee or an ape, or but it does have distinct quote unquote Negro looking features. It's got these kind of high cheekbones, a big kind of Negro looking nose, big lips like a Negro, and it has kind of this helmet on, and they call them the Olmecs, and that goes back to Al Malik, which means the rulers. That's where they get the Moors from, like the Moors of Morocco and
Yeah,
how they came
Italy,
over here. But they say that
Sicilians.
that's where those heads came from, those monolithic heads. But that ties also into who they say was the Native Americans over here in
Well,
America,
that
American time.
also goes back to the Italians too, more directly the Sicilians. The
Mhm.
Sicilians were conquered by the Moors, so technically, they would be of black origin too.
Yeah, I've heard that too. They say Sicilians have black blood in them. Yeah, I've heard
Yeah,
that.
they do.
Yeah.
It's more of a like a racist joke regarding them because they Sicilian Italians, they're kind of racist. So like
Yeah.
a counter argument to that is that, oh, you're actually black.
Right.
Um,
Yeah, I've heard that too.
yeah, but no, there's basis behind that though around
Mhm.
that. And so like originally the Sicilians looked like the rest of Italy or Europe, dark skin with maybe blonde hair or blonde hair, blue eyes, you know. And then you got people that come and conquered them, and they interbreeding, they become a lot darker.
Yeah.
That's kind of like how the Arabians, the Muslims conquered half of Spain. They
Hmm.
interbreeded in that culture too. That's kind of why I based my whole Elamite theory,
Uh-huh.
is that they started in the land of Elam. they pushed through Arabia. So the Arabians, Muslims would be a Elamite religion, and so they went
Mm,
farther east. So you get like Turkey, Iran, you get India, Pakistan, and that's where it ended because there's nowhere to go after that. It's just water from like, the far east.
right.
So from
Okay.
there, the Elamites stopped and then they went up north. And so you get Kazakhstan, you get Russia, you got all these Slavic nations that have a large Muslim population religiously wise for some reason. And like Uzbekistan, Turkestan, Kazakhstan, they got all these stand names for some reason. And like all these stands, so some of these stands start in Europe, basically Southern Europe, Southern Eastern Europe, and if you go one country down with these stand countries, you end up in like near in the Middle East, basically. You know what I'm saying? Like right next to
Hmm.
Pakistan,
Right. Okay. I see what you're
Turkey.
saying.
Yeah, okay, yeah. So you see what I'm saying? So when people say Russians are like Edomites or something else, Hamites or whatever you want to call them, I forgot what the other theory is, but I know them
Mhm,
as Edomites. No, that's not true. Russians are only white because, interbreeding wise. That's what I've always gone back to. So
mhm.
Russians, so southern southern Eastern Europe and India and all the Arabian nations and Spain are all Elamite people.
Hmm. So you don't believe that they're Ishmaelite?
No, not at all.
Oh, okay. All right.
I they could be. Um, I've also heard people say the Iranians and the Arabians are actually Edomites. That they're actually they claim to be, what is that, Aryan. So they would be
Mhm.
like white people. I'm like, no, that's not possible.
Mm.
Because like their spirits are totally different. Like when you talk to somebody, you can tell like, oh yeah, that person's like me. But you test them by their spirit. A lot of people quote on white people who claim to be Aryan that they call Iranians sand,
Right.
Nigers.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what
Hmm.
they refer them to. So like I've never seen that as plausible. That would be their people. And so like,
Well, yeah. By that logic, yeah, I can see what you're saying.
yeah. So Ishmaelites, they could be in that region. That they could Ishmaelites, that could be like Italian descent, Romanian. Um, I see that as a plausible thing. Um, Portuguese, that's all like the same thing.
Wow.
I'd have to do research in that one. The only people that I've ever actually done research on and looked into and formed a plausible theory on it is Elamites.
I think all of this nationality talk is step one to understanding a bigger picture. That's just my perspective. I think that this is all the reason why they are trying to come out with some type of knowledge of there being life outside of the planet Earth. I think that this is like kind of opening up the door to understanding a celestial nationality.
Totally, totally. And like with this whole liberal concept nowadays of like, why do you want to talk about race? Let's not talk about race. Oh, you want to talk about race? Oh, you must be racist. Like that's like the running idea. Like I work with a lot of people and like they're not like your typical liberal. I think that's more of a stereotype, but like the running idea though is like if you talk about black people or if you talk about like white people or anything, um like they get like this weird idea like, oh, you shouldn't be talking about race. Like that's a bad thing, but like that's not a bad thing. Like don't you want to know what you are? Like how's that a bad thing? Oh, he dropped out. But yeah, that's that. How many people I got still here? 9. Oh yeah, what's up, Luke?
Yeah, hello. What's up? How you going?
Pretty good, man. Pretty good.
Said something about the race theory.
No, not at all.
Something about the origins. What are your thoughts on atheism?
It's atheism, man. There's
Uh,
not really no thoughts regarding that.
the theories surrounding atheism, evolution, and
Well,
many
that's
other
not
stuff.
atheism. That's more scientism.
Yes, because
A lot of people who believe in science like that believe in a god. So you can't call that atheism.
Yes,
Now, what that
very.
god would be, I don't know.
Yes, you're talking about crypto earlier.
Yeah.
Just want to add something.
Oh, go ahead, man. Say whatever you want.
About crypto. I've invested in crypto years ago for the Brave browser, and so basically, as I was doing that, I had my ups and downs, and I've been trying to understand how the market works. It seems that crypto seems to follow the stock market.
Yeah, I mentioned that.
Yes, I did not know that. I've noticed stocks are going down, so goes with crypto, but I've noticed crypto has bounced up back again, which is very, very interesting.
Yeah, man, it's rigged. I'll tell you that. They choose what goes up, goes down.
Yep. It's sad, isn't it?
Save your money is all I can say.
There's a video I want people to play, and it's about atheism. And oops, there's I don't know what's going on here.
Oh, is it gonna get me copyrighted?
Uh,
Because you and LOP played something last time and it got me copyrighted, and the video got removed. Are you there, Luke?
oh my goodness me. Um, okay, now we can hear this. Okay, this documentary I want to talk about was shared to me by a family member who's an atheist. And she's atheist because of this documentary. Okay?
All right.
I was watching it. Now, this is the description. Let's read the description. You want to read it or I read it?
I can't even see it, man.
The Marketing Messiah 2020, director Cameron Relic, writer Cameron Relic, stars Michael Bird, Richard Kuntz, Groffy Doone, the Genes documentary, My Country, Australia. Because it's a very secular culture. It's become very, very secular over the years, and now we got this documentary.
Secular? You mean liberal?
Atheism. It's run amok in this country.
Yeah, atheism is kind of like a liberal concept. Secular means liberal.
Oh yes. How much do you really know about Christianity got started? Whether you are a Christian, atheist, or member of another faith, it's impossible to ignore the impact that Christianity has on the Western civilization. But most people, including many Christians, don't have a solid grasp on the history of early Christianity, even though it's hinted at in the New Testament, Many people think the Gospels are written by people whose names adorn the book. Many people still think those people were eyewitnesses to Jesus. Many people don't realize how much Paul and Titus reinvented early Christianity to suit his own version. Now, before I continue on, what are your thoughts on that? According to this documentary, they're saying that Paul and Titus has reinvented Christianity to suit their vision.
That's a big claim. I really don't know, to be honest with you, Luke.
I tell you what, these atheists are
And to
getting
be
more.
honest with you, Luke, I really don't care. Just to say that, I really don't care what atheists say. They are irrelevant. They hold no standpoint, no argument. So, like, what they claim, I mean, it's just all bullshit, to be honest with you.
I know this statement here is BS. Now, and how much treason he created with the original disciples over the last century. The New Testament scholars, have examined New Testament scholars have examined the text word by word and teared apart the true history from accepted tradition in this light-hearted but factual film. Wow, they're calling it a light-hearted factual film. See? Wow. We tell the true story of early Christianity with the help of 12 biblical scholars. Wow, look at that, recent masterpiece and humorous animations. It's never a film about faith, nor a film attacking or making fun of Christianity. It's an honest attempt to piece together a very complex and fascinating story that everyone will enjoy. Wow, wow, I have suggested the documentary for years now. Wow. Most lose their interest because they don't ask compelling enough questions about the topic they're exploring. I couldn't make it through religious for this very reason. It was just too easy. Who doesn't consider Christianity or religious in general to be some joke that the adolescents can dismantle with a couple of glitches. Wow. But I am very much appreciative. Blah, blah, blah. Blah, blah, blah. Copyright and. I'm not going to play the whole thing. Now, this is the first part of it. Starts with this. Then it starts off with classical music.
King Arthur.
Look at that. Now, this is the first. He's in a church, so this really.
Death.
Okay, this is the first part of the mockumentary, I should call it. It's nothing but a mockumentary. Let's watch it. Let's watch the mockumentary.
Or maybe you're one of those people who believe he never even really existed. He's just some kind of literary myth, like a Hercules or King Arthur.
But King Arthur really lived.
Whichever camp you're.
I know. But this is the latest documentary attacking Christianity. He says he's not attacking Christianity. Yeah, you got 12 biblical scholars from, I should say, a lot of the universities are left-wing liberal and full of left-wing liberals, and it doesn't surprise me that 12 so-called biblical scholars put together a lovely documentary trying to debunk the Bible, Christianity, and many others.
Rin, I think we can all agree that Jesus is one of the most influential and intriguing figures in all of world history.
That guy's not a Christian, though.
About 40 years ago, when I was a good little Catholic boy going to Sunday school, I was taught the story of Jesus. It went something like this.
About 2,000 years ago, a young married woman, still a virgin, was made pregnant by the God of the Jews. She gave birth to a baby in a barn, and 3 wise men found him by following a star. So they
Whoa, Catholic. He said Catholic. Can we see where we're going from here?
Mm-hmm.
Catholic.
worship him and give some gold and scented oils. When he grew up, Jesus walked around Judea, telling thousands of people he was God, and performing miracles, such as magically making fish and bread appear, turning water
magically
into wine, and raising people from the dead. One night, he told his friends to eat some bread, which was his flesh, and drink some wine, which was his blood. Then the Jewish authorities, who were angry with him, turned him over to the Romans, who actually wanted to let him go. But the Jews convinced them to crucify him. But then, a few days later, he rose from the dead and told his friends that dying was secretly the plan all along, because his death wiped out the sins of the world. His friends wrote down what happened in a book and started a new religion. But then the Romans started persecuting them. Until one day, the Romans changed their minds and decided to become Christians instead. At the end of the world, Jesus will return to judge the living and the dead.
Wow.
To be honest, when I was a little kid, the story didn't make a lot of sense to me. I remember thinking, so this dude has magical powers and he's invisible and watching me when I sleep at night? It all seemed a little bit creepy. But as an adult, I started learning more about the history of early Christianity. As I read the Bible more carefully and read the works of modern New Testament scholars and ancient historians, I started to realize that the Sunday school version of the Jesus story was vastly different to the story as it appears in the Bible. The actual story is far more complicated and far more interesting. So I thought I'd go out and interview a range of world-renowned biblical scholars and historians and academics and ask them to help me tell the story of how Christianity went from being some sort of fringe Jewish personality cult from the backwaters.
Wow, fringe Jewish personality cult. Just hear that, fringe person. You know, I've watched this whole documentary. They mentioned, they read 18 Bible verses. Then at the very end, at 1 hour and this is how I know who's behind it. 1 hour, I think 42 or something. This is towards the end of it. It was 1 hour 42. So sorry, the internet's a bit slow. See, painkiller 666. 18 times the scripture was mentioned in this mockumentary. 6 plus 6 plus 6 equals 18. Can you see the 666? You see the 666, Sacramento?
Yeah, I do, man. Can you, we're probably gonna wrap up with this, because I don't want this to be too long. I'm gonna mirror the end portion of this and re-upload it.
Oh yes.
So can you finish with it?
It'll take like 2 hours to debunk the whole document. We need ETT in
just
this.
play like 6 or 7 minutes of it, man, and like explain it.
There's all types of claims the atheists were making.
So that's good then. You can get a little couple minutes of it in.
They said that Paul had a multiple personality disorder.
And at the same time, but a lot of affection and love and care as well. So maybe he was bipolar. I don't know.
Wow, that they had to put an evil, demonic-looking person angry here. It's ridiculous.
Unfortunately, we only have Paul's side of the story.
When Paul's in a
The same we have Paul's side of the story.
bad mood, and he's in a really bad mood in the epistle to the Galatians, he wants to say, they didn't add anything to me. There's nothing that they told me that added anything to the gospel which I got from God. But we know that this isn't true.
Imagine pacing up and down a room, yelling, while someone's like taking it all down. That's the best way to imagine Paul, creating Galatians, his letter to the Galatians. And at the same time, but a lot of affection and love and care as well. So maybe he was bipolar. I don't know.
No, he wasn't bipolar. There was a Bible verse that said, there was a Bible verse where, there's a reason why Paul was angry at the Galatians for their sins, because they were trying to conform into the Roman pagan. This is where we need a Bible scholar. See, I'm not a qualified Bible scholar, but I know this is the atheist.
Neither is ETT though, man.
Yes, but these people are claiming that Apostle Paul has bipolar. This is their latest claim. What are your thoughts on that? Did Apostle Paul had bipolar?
No, man. I really don't give a shit what they claim.
It's BS. This is BS. And funny how they have like an actor here saying, "Oh, Paul's this and that." Wow. Then they say, "Oh, Paul was trying to fit in with the Romans." They're saying this. They're saying first they said Paul was bipolar. Then they said Paul was trying to market Christianity. Oh man, this. Funny how he comes from Catholicism. The maker of the documentary is an ex-Catholic. So, in a lot of, before we actually get into this documentary, we need to expose Catholicism first before exposing this documentary.
You don't have to do that, man.
We'll be sitting here for 4 hours.
Yeah, I don't have time to do that, though.
I know. So, it's ridiculous. Ridiculous. He's saying that the Bible's ridiculous over here. This is, I think, the last point before I think you have to go.
Yeah, just play the rest of the video. It's like 6 or 7 minutes in, man.
Yeah, I'll play 6 or 7 minutes.
Between two Jesuses, two saviors. One is the violent kind of savior, like the one who tried to overthrow the Romans in the rebellion of 66 CE. The other is a pacifist kind of savior who's never hurt anything. Which one will the Jews choose to punish?
And what happens? The innocent Jesus pays the penalty, pays the ransom for the very guilty Barabbas, son of the Father. In terms of Christians,
see that they also think that the Jews think that Barabbas was another Jesus. Another ridiculous claim.
Theology, it's perfect. In terms of history, it's ridiculous.
Two identical saviors. One is going to be set free, one is going to pay the penalty. Now, if you're a Jew living in the 1st century, this story might sound a little familiar.
Well, we know this story. This is in Leviticus. This is the whole ritual of Yom Kippur, which is the whole atonement ceremony.
Yom Kippur is usually expressed in English as Day of Atonement.
There were two great ceremonies in the Jewish calendar. One was Passover and the other was Yom Kippur. And this one, every year, there would be this, you have the two goats, the two identical goats. They have to be, look the same. One, you would cast the sins of Israel on and cast it into the crowd. Release it into the wilderness, and the other you would sacrifice on the altar in the temple, and its blood would atone for all the sins of Israel.
The Barabbas story seems to be saying that the goat sacrifices, which had replaced human sacrifices in Judaism, are now being replaced once more with the ultimate human sacrifice.
They're trying to link Christianity, the Bible, to other pagan religions that promoted human sacrifices. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah,
claim?
I've heard that before. There's nothing behind that at all. There's no basis.
I know. It's ridiculous.
Mark is writing for one of Paul's communities, possibly in Rome.
Originally, it was written to symbolize the gospel. It wasn't written to be taken as literally true, at least not by informed insiders in the sect.
This story, by the way, is where we get the term scapegoat. Forgive me, Lord, I have committed murder.
That's a terrible sin. Have you pushed a goat off a cliff?
Well, yes, Lord, I did.
Good then. See you next year.
Now, most people who read the Barabbas story today probably aren't Jews, probably don't know their Leviticus very well. So the whole story about two identical goats goes right over their heads.
And I think you can go from story to story through Mark and see, like, if you look at it as history, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense. But if you look at it as allegory, as something representing something else, then it makes perfect sense and looks literarily brilliant.
Then, towards the end of Mark's gospel, we find Jesus in the Garden of Gethsemane, where he's literally begging Yahweh not to let him be killed.
They went to a place called Gethsemane. He began to be deeply distressed and troubled. He fell to the ground and prayed that if possible, the hour might pass from him. Father, take this cup from me. Mark.
I wonder what Bible version they're using. What Bible trend? There's no Bible trends that, you know. What's the version they're using? I don't know.
I don't know, Luke.
I have no idea. I mean, I can tell it's from a Catholic. It's like they threw the baby out with. I watched the whole thing. It's like they threw the baby out with the bathwater. It's ridiculous.
14:32-42.
It's a very moving story until you realize that Jesus is Yahweh. So this was his own plan all along, and he's literally begging himself not to kill himself, which is pretty confusing.
What are your thoughts on that? Begging?
Well, I don't believe Christ is God, so I mean, he's talking to his Father, so there's that.
It's yeah, he's saying, see, I think in the Catholic Church they believe in the Trinity, and he's getting that view from the Trinity that Jesus is God, the Holy Spirit is God, the Holy Spirit is Jesus, Jesus is the Holy Spirit, God is the Holy Spirit, you know what I mean? And this is the problem with Catholicism. I tell you what, Catholicism has a lot of things to say in this country. It's caused a lot of people to turn away. You know what I mean? These people, these 12 biblical scholars, they think they're so enlightened.
In Mark, Jesus appears to be very human. He doesn't talk or act like a god in disguise. This might be an idea that Christians came up with later. Speaking of
Christians came up with later, he said,
They have their claims right here are valid. I give them that.
Yeah, you know, I have to admit, this whole documentary has been put together really well. Really, really well. Okay? And I tell you what, like, they've what would ETT say?
I don't know, man.
They hit Christianity with a couple of good strikes, good blows. But a lot of them, because they're from these liberal, limp-wristed colleges or universities, I gotta say that these are the same people that they believe in evolution, yet they accept, I'm not going to mention it here, SSM. You know what SSM is. I mean, look, I know some conservative atheists that believe in evolution, and they also do not believe in SSM, because at least they're consistent. But these people who are very knowledgeable, yes, I understand. I do acknowledge that they're very knowledgeable, but they see, the problem with science is that everything's an observation. Who knows? 2 years down the track, someone could make a documentary debunking this, or this stream. We could have another stream together, debunking this whole documentary, pulling it to bits. But first of all, we have to expose Catholicism first. I'll play another. Let's get it to 60 minutes, hey?
Of humans and parables, one of the stories that we don't find in Mark is the virgin birth.
The
Mark
virgin
starts his
birth.
gospel and says, the beginning of the gospel of Jesus Christ, the Son of God. And then he doesn't tell us a story about Jesus' birth, but instead narrates Jesus' baptism by John. And if you look carefully at this story, with the Holy Spirit descending upon Jesus like a dove, and God saying, "This is my beloved Son," it sort of sounds like Mark is saying that this is when Jesus becomes the Son of God at his baptism.
In ancient Rome, birds landing on things was read as a positive sign from the gods. The process of deciphering...
Again, they're trying to link ancient paganism with Christianity. I'd say they got their whole view wrong. You know what I mean? What are your thoughts on that? Now, the next part, they attack the virgin birth. Then they say, oh, the story of the dove landing on Jesus's head, oh, that's a fabricated story with other Roman paganism. I mean, at this point, you have to be very careful here that you're not blaspheming the Holy Spirit. Okay? And this is what, I'm like, oh my goodness. I hope these people are not blaspheming the Spirit. What are your thoughts?
I really don't know, man. I can't tell you anything really.
They're talking about the virgin birth.
It's they're retarded. That's all I have to say, really.
I know I'm ending the documentary. You know, nice stream. I looked at this whole channel, and I looked at what's going on here, and here it is. They're talking about all of this. You know, electric vehicles. They're talking about March of the Machines. They're talking about how robots are taking over jobs. They're talking about Bitcoin. They're talking about Coca-Cola. Talking about Belt and Road. And there was one here, I think there was, yes. I'm trying to think that there was one here they were talking about was about banks. Okay. Trying to think throughout about, you know, 90% of the world's wealth is owned by 1% of people, which is true. So they've mixed truth. These people have mixed truth with lies. You know, they're talking about look at Vatican scandal. See, here it is. I watched this documentary too. 90% owned. What are your thoughts on this whole channel as a whole, looking at all this?
I really don't know, man.
Is this a
It's
shield?
crazy.
Is this a shield? Because look at this. Who rules?
Probably.
They're talking about the elite. I'd say that this is an atheist truther channel. This YouTube channel here. It's an atheist YouTube channel. Economic and financial.
Could
Funny how
you could you wrap this up a little bit faster, Luke?
Yeah, I'm wrapping it up now, actually. Interesting how they debunk Christianity, mostly Catholicism, Yeah, they are they're making documentaries talking about money, talking about corruption in Africa, saying that it's all owned by the elites. Yeah. What's this? Bill Gates? Oh, look at that. They're talking about Bill Gates. It's crazy. Robots, how robots are taking over the world. That's where I'm going to end it here. What are your final thoughts on this? Just this whole channel. Got a join
It's
button.
retarded, man. That's all I have
Is
to
it a
say.
shill?
Probably.
They're talking about. I remember your food. Your videos exposing the food industry. They got a video exposing.
Oh yeah, I was
the
just
food
about to re-upload that too. So yeah.
They got their own documentary exposing the food industry. They got a ball earth here. Isn't that interesting, eh? What anyone who's going to a channel like this, I've noticed a lot of people going to a channel like this, beware, it could be a shill. Could be a shield account. Now, we are going to end this video. I want to say, how many minutes? How many minutes have we? 3 minutes 49. I want to say, please like, share, and subscribe. Please, everyone, subscribe to our Sacramental Truth movement. Please get those subs going. Make sure to subscribe to all his recommended channels. And here's his Sacramental Truth movement 2 and 3 and all that. Make sure to subscribe to my channel here. This is my channel, YouTube channel. Subscribe here. You want to do the outro or? Actually, no, I'll do the outro. Let's see
No,
if it
I'm
works.
not doing the outro this time.
Okay. How should we end this?
Right now it's pretty fine, man. Shalom to everybody. Thanks for joining. See you in the next stream.
Yep. See everybody.
Yep. Peace out, Luke.
Peace.